Last year, we finished here in Sydney on the last By Any Means, and we come all the way from Ireland. And now, I'm doing it again. But this time, I'm going from Sydney up the Pacific Rim all the way to Japan by any means of transport. I'm going to do some amazing biking. We might be the first motorbikes to come up here. Discover the impact of World War II. All of this was just covered with landing craft. And eventually end up in Tokyo. We had to fly from Papua New Guinea to Indonesia. Love this bit when we're in a new place, which we've been traveling across in order to try and get a ferry to the Philippines.
Just muscled our way into a wedding and I'm getting fed.
Beautiful countryside, just stunning.
Some people save their money all their lives just to have a big funeral. At the end of Indonesia, we're supposed to get the ferry to the Philippines. They've closed the immigrations, which means the boat can't go from there. So, back to Singapore.
We spent our last few days in Indonesia trying to get here to Manado, where we were hoping to catch a ferry to the Philippines. However, the Indonesian government have closed customs and the port, meaning we have no option but to fly to the Philippines via Singapore. It just means that every country that I've been to this time so far, we've flown. And it's just massively disappointing, massively disappointing.
Which is the sort of main town of Mindanao, which is this big island, and it's a real sort of industrial, busy town.
There's about 7,000 islands here in the Philippines, and I'm lucky enough to be able to go from the bottom to the top.
So the idea today is I'm going to try and look for a fruit truck that is going to be able to take me up the road. And there's loads and loads of them here, and they're all coming in and out of town all the time. So this is kind of a brilliant place to start.
Hey, Charlie.
See, yeah.
Welcome to Davao City.
Yeah, thank you. So you said there was this truck or
It's a Jeep/truck.
Yeah.
We're looking at it right now.
Oh, this one is.
This is the one. But you don't see jeepneys with two set of tires at the back, not like this one. This is really a big one because this travels all the way up to the mountains to get all the vegetables down. Right. And that's what they're bringing in, the fresh produce from the mountains. So yeah, here's the driver. Maayong buntag. Maayong buntag. That's how we say it in
Maayong buntag.
Maayong buntag.
Twice a week he comes down into town from the highlands or from the mountains and delivers his vegetables and tomatoes and you name it. They can pretty much grow everything up here.
So very strong. He says I'm very strong.
Don't worry, this Jeep got air conditioning on it.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw the little fan.
Yeah.
That's okay for the driver.
Yep.
But, you know, what about the rest of us? It's going to smell nice. You know, I think this is to counteract some of the cargo that he takes, the fish and stuff like that.
Jeepney trucks are something which was sort of a leftover from the Second World War American Jeep. And they developed that and they made these long versions of them which carries people around. It's open buses, really.
I think you should let me drive now, I think I can handle it, yeah. Thank you, Ray. Okay, let's go.
And there you go.
Oh, damn.
He very kindly let me have a go. Poor guy looked absolutely terrified. We headed inland to Mintan, where we were hoping to find some catfish for lunch. And apparently that area, very famous for them.
So this is your place?
Yeah, the simple place serves as my outlet on my farming.
You produce these catfish?
Yes, I produce.
Oh, what you mean you have a fish farm?
Yes, on the backyard, in the other side of my farm.
And it's organic?
Yeah.
Can we have a look at your fish farm?
Yes, we can have it.
And then can we take some fish and then...
We can take the fish you want it to be cooked there. And
can I help cook it and stuff?
Yes, okay.
And this is your farm just here?
Yes, wow, here beautiful. On this side, I have rice and fish mix or rice-fish integration, I should say.
Rice and fish?
This guy has converted his whole farm into organic farming, and he'll put
carp in with the rice so that the carp eat the little snails, which means that the snails don't eat the rice. And then the little birds come down and they eat the insects. And so he uses barely any insecticide.
When I harvest the rice, I harvest the fish also. I get the 2 income source in one cropping area.
Now that's what I like to hear. There's a little businessman going on here.
But beside, I learn almost double from a simple farmer.
Wow.
In comparison.
It's just incredible.
Okay.
What a genius. While he showed us his farm, we went to the back of his property where he has his fish ponds.
This is a simple hatchery facility. I can produce my own fry and fingerlings by my own fish pan without buying outside.
Wow.
That's it.
Totally self-dependent. That's just incredible.
We will get the fish which you want to cook. Catfish. Try to use this fishing rod.
Okay. Never had the patience for fishing. Almost. Oh,
There, they're ready. Okay. They're ready.
There it is.
Okay. Go near to
I
the...
don't want to lose him. He's coming over. Oh,
Okay.
look at that.
Balde.
Okay, let's go cook.
Okay.
He showed me how to gut them and clean them up.
It's already finished.
Dead. Okay.
Try the other one. Okay.
Okay.
And... Okay.
Okay.
Finish. Most important one is to clean the internal organ and take out the gills.
Just pull it. There we go. Pull out the gills. There we go.
Put some 3 or 4 slices.
Okay.
We are going to fry this one. Deep fry.
Okay.
So,
Just getting quite hungry now. It's starting to smell really nice.
ang damay na pagkaon.
I mean, this guy's got it down to a T. I mean, he knows everything. I'm very impressed with your setup and what you're doing.
I feel that all of us have the responsibility to do the same for the next generation and to make it a better world for me.
And here we go. This is the end product. Lovely. Very crispy.
This is my granddaughter. Her name is Organica Yuri, means organic farmer. Okay.
Appreciate it. Thanks for everything.
Okay.
And bye-bye, little organic farmer.
Yeah.
Yes. You're the next generation.
Next direction farmer. Okay.
After over a month on the road, we were starting to look pretty scruffy, so we decided to stop off and smarten up.
It's haircut time. But look, and I've just noticed here, look, barber wanted. So I reckon that's me. I saw your sign here, help wanted.
Yeah.
And I was wondering if I could, cut his hair.
Definitely needed.
To see if you think I can qualify and have a job.
You may try. I think I'm going to get one of the barbers to do my hair because I've seen how Charlie uses a knife and fork. So I think I might go for the professional.
You scared, Claudio? I'll be very worried.
I would be very worried too.
I'm going to cut his hair. No, I need a towel and some scissors.
You just do it like with the sheep.
Are you sure, Claudio?
Absolutely.
I'm sure it's looking good.
Slowly. It's quite tiring.
I don't know.
Do you want to do the edges?
They were brilliant. They finished off Claudio beautifully, and Robin's haircut was done. Sam had a good haircut, and I had a great head massage. And very, very good.
So we're going to a place called Camiguin today, and we're going to go and hang out with this fisherman. And he has very kindly let us stay at his house. And but we're going to buy some tickets for the ferry. This is where we're going. Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays. Is it Wednesday today? Must be. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. Can I have 5 tickets to Camiguin?
Gate 1, sir.
Gate 1.
Yes, sir.
It'd be nice to do a bit of fishing. I hope it's nice, calm weather today. So, because I'm not the greatest of seafaring people. Oh, they've gotten vomiting before they've even got on the boat. What kind of ship are we getting on?
Over 2 million Filipinos depend on the fishing industry to earn a living. We are on our way to meet some fishermen who still use traditional boats to catch their fish. These boats are called bankers, and their distinctive bamboo outriggers can be found all across the Philippines.
Wow, look at that. Gorgeous. And we met this guy, Ben, who is a fisherman. And you're going to take us fishing today, are you? And you'll take us across on this. Do I have to wear this? The small, what are we catching again? The small fish?
Anchovy.
Anchovies.
Anchovy.
I love anchovy. How long would you have to wait?
30 minutes.
30 minutes.
Then we leave this.
Right.
It is difficult to catch the more fish.
Yeah. Because there are too many people fishing, or
Because of the overfishing, many people
many people
going
fishing.
in fishing.
Yeah.
Only small fishing ground. Almost 100 families using the area. That area depends.
Wow, it's a lot of people. All day, they're out 4 or 5 in the morning, they're back at 4, 5 or 6 in the evening. By the time they're finished, it's 7 or 8 at night. They get some food, have some sleep, and they're just starting the whole thing over again.
And you have a wife and children?
Yeah, I have wife, then 2 kids.
2 kids. Do you think he'll become a fisherman?
No, I want to come to school, then
And to go to university? Do you think most people on the island are struggling?
no jobs. So the other fisher folks migrated to other places.
Yeah, to looking for jobs.
We pull out, we pull
Into the boat.
There
There they are. So it's not so good today then. And so they'll take all the fish nets in, and then they go to the
go
beach
to the beach.
and pick them out.
You know what, Nene?
Got to find a happy medium there where they're protecting the fishery and protecting themselves. Otherwise, it could be all over for the even by the next generation. This area here, it could be all finished. And then what do they do? Awesome! What a beautiful evening. That was fantastic. So we came back and we had a few beers here and we sang some songs, and then we went over to where they land the catch. Oh my gosh, look at all the fish. Wow. Oh, so they just flick them off. Beautiful color, aren't they? So is this a small catch then?
Yeah.
Very, very small.
Very, very small.
This is only 20 tins.
2 tins.
Small tins.
It's a lot of work, isn't it? And, especially when there's not much to catch, then it becomes really hard. So do you sell them fresh or do you dry them?
Sold a fish to the market.
1 kilo.
Equivalent to 80 pesos.
And 80 pesos is £1 and 5p. I mean,
80
they've got to
pesos,
pay for fuel. There's probably 2 of them on that boat. They've got to share it between them. Hard. This is where I slept last night. And this is the beach. And that's the boat that I went out on last night. And they take cockfighting here very seriously. This is one of the birds here. They look after them very well. They call them their second wives.
Huh?
The precious cock. And how do you train them up?
You can see how they train the muscles in the legs. Like when they're hiking.
So they're very gentle with them, and they look after them, don't they?
They put a knife.
Uh-huh.
They're gonna put a very sharp knife.
Oh, well, on their legs? So a sharp knife, or like a razor blade or something like that. But then, and everybody bets money, I suppose. Yeah. And there are lots and lots of people and lots of shouting and...
Just like football.
Just like football. Benjamin, do you do cockfighting?
No, no.
No. Are you just not interested, or?
I'm not a gambler. I'm not a...
And do people lose a lot of money from gambling?
Yeah, during every Sunday.
Every Sunday. Big thing cockfighting here, Sundays. So we're going to hopefully try and find somewhere next Sunday to go and see some cockfighting with a bit of luck.
Today we're taking a ferry to the island of Bohol, where we'll be catching a lift with the Filipino Navy to the next island, Cebu.
Yeah, so look at this. This is the boat we're going to take. It's a car ferry as well. We're going to be on it for 4 hours. For 4 hours in this big old jalopy. Madness, huh? Trucks everywhere.
So watermelon.
Huh? Watermelon. Do you work and live on the boat? You live on the boat. Where do you sleep?
Here.
In here?
Yeah.
Just here? And they all have their own locker. My God. And how long do you stay on the boat then?
1 year apprenticeship.
1 year apprenticeship. But you go home sometimes, or no? You stay 1 year on here. Wow. So you have to wash, clean, food, everything. After this, where do you go?
I apply abroad.
Abroad. Work on ships. Container ships and stuff like that. And it's good business, good money? The money is good? They have that small little area where they wash on deck. They have the little crew area where they can get changed. And basically at night time when the ferry's not running, they live on the ferry. And they sleep on the chairs where we slept.
Each year, over 1 million Filipinos go abroad to find work and join the 11 million strong workforce already overseas.
You know, you've got to go abroad to make your money, really. Simple as that. This is Bohol, where we're going, and then we're going to cross over the island and have a look at the chocolate mountains. The idea is to get this Navy ship that's leaving at 5. I hope they let me use the guns. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 20, 21, 22. And there are these little mountains, and there's like 1,200 odd of them.
The summer sun turns the grass on these hills brown, giving them the appearance of chocolate.
Just stunning. Some people believe that the giant fell in love with a mortal woman and she died. And he was horribly upset and devastated by the whole thing because he lived forever. And so he cried and he cried and he cried and he cried and he mourned and mourned and mourned. And his tears washed away all the earth and left these mountains behind. Well, the real thing is that it's actually limestone, and they reckon over thousands of millions of years it was erosion. And then eventually the grass caught hold and covered up the limestone. But it's not so interesting, that one, is it? And the big pièce de résistance was to go on this Philippine Navy ship. And the Philippines had offered us a ride. They were off doing maneuvers anyway. They were going from Bohol to Cebu. It's amazing. We're lucky. All right, we'll see you later. What a boat. It's huge. Where was this ship originally from?
From Korea.
From Korea.
Yes. This is a PKM, a patrol killer mission. The mission of the ship is to conduct maritime patrol.
Is she a good boat?
Yes.
Of course.
One of the best in the Philippine warship.
The Filipino Navy patrols over 1.25 million square kilometers of the Pacific Ocean and has done so for over 100 years. It takes 22,000 personnel to protect and police a coastline longer than that of the USA.
Usually here, we conduct a board and search.
Oh, what are they, fishing boats or?
Some are fishing boats, some are cargo boats. Here in central Philippines, we encounter illegal fishers. Violations are no working permits for the ship's crew.
I've never been on a naval boat before.
and certainly not crossing the sea to another island. Navy life for me, diddly-day-dee-doo. So they took us on board and we had a look around and they did some maneuvers for us.
General quarters. So everyone's practicing. The gun spinning round.
20mm gun.
20mm.
Yeah.
And they're all operational.
Yes.
Very rusty, the guns, aren't they?
I've been nervous about shooting. They're a nice bunch of guys, very relaxed, very chilled out.
Look, they're doing Titanic impressions.
Yeah. You're the king of the world. Yeah.
It's a bit smaller than the Titanic, but, you know. We're here in Cebu, out in the docks somewhere, and that's our journey with the Filipino Navy. Don't say that every day. Dry land. Thank you very much, guys. These extraordinary things here are an invention of Manny. You're a furniture designer, right?
Manufacturer and a designer.
Manufacturing designer. And he's created this incredible motorbike. So for all your furniture skills, you've built this.
So many things we can do with this bike. These are recycled materials. Polyethylene.
Incredible.
Yeah.
They're so gorgeous.
So he's taken the back wheel off the motorbike and made it into a shaft drive and had a little sort of old Suzuki multivan chassis. He owns a business with his nephew.
Well, thanks for coming down. So, right, okay, we're going to split this up. So do you want to come with me?
I'll go with you.
So we're going to split the team up into two, and we're going to have a bit of a race down to the ferry, which is at 11, so we've not got much time. We've got the bigger engine, so...
You're getting a bit too serious, aren't you?
Well, no, listen, if you're going to do something, you may as well win.
We're winning, they're miles behind.
I think he's a bit quicker than us. Look out!
We're totally going to win now.
Oh, no! He's through! Oh, no. All my years of motorbiking, and it's just failed me. Technically, we won because we parked first. Well done, Clouds. Oh, don't cheat! All of our team were out of the car before you guys.
Admit it, Charlie, we won. He's such a baby.
Love the idea of this, and plus the fact that we won is even better.
We jumped on a ferry to the town of Ormoc on the historic island of Leyte. This will be our penultimate ferry on our journey north to Manila.
Went to the market, actually, and it was beautiful, the market. Incredible diversity of what goes on there. From pig to beef to vegetables to clothes to basically whatever you want.
Have you seen my body?
You want to mix this one?
Just had a bit of a giggle with the locals. Everyone's so friendly here. You can have a right old laugh with people here.
Lentil, look at these lovely chilies. Ooh, yummy. Yep. Oh, coconut. Look, see these machines grind the coconut shells, you see? Yeah, I'll give it a go. Here, present for you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, girls.
We're heading to Tacloban to meet up with a Second World War historian. And we've been promised a lift in an ingenious new car.
Hi, Charlie.
Rochelle.
Rochelle,
Nice
wow.
to have you.
This is the weirdest looking thing I've ever seen.
It's bamboo, actually.
What is mostly made out of bamboo?
Yes, bamboo. This is called a makan. It's a form of, it's a type of material of bamboo here.
Uh-huh.
This runs on cocoa biodiesel. It runs just like a car. It's put together like a car.
But so it runs on cocoa biodiesel. And so what does that exactly mean, cocoa biodiesel?
It's an alternative form of fuel. It doesn't have a high carbon emission, which of course is a big concern for us in the world right now because of global warming, climate change. So this actually uses instead of even gasoline or diesel, it uses cocoa biodiesel.
Can I drive it?
Oh.
Am I allowed to drive?
The gears are backwards.
Oh, that's okay.
If you can manage
Yeah,
that.
I can manage that. I love it's a bamboo chair as well. It looks like I'm going to go to dinner. Oh, it's not the most gentle clutch.
We call this the TOKYO2.
So what's the maximum speed of this thing?
60 kilometers per hour.
60. It's amazing.
And I had to laugh to myself because they looked just like the tuk-tuks we'd raced earlier.
I'm so impressed. I really wasn't expecting anything like this. What's this like when it's raining?
Actually, there's no leakage because we covered it really well with a mat.
Yeah.
This mat is used in homes as sleeping. People sleep on this in their homes if they don't have beds.
Fucking hell. Almost popped a wheelie there. Phew. Woo. Oh my God, that was stressful, that last few minutes. That was I'm sorry about that.
It's okay.
There's no brakes. So, and at night, you can't quite see out the window. It's just a little bit too much at night. So we thought it'd be, just to save ourselves, we would stop here. It's great. We're alive. Well, we stayed in this beautiful hotel last night. And the reason we stayed here is because it's owned by a guy called Mr. Montuho. And he is about 80 years old. And this middle part of the house here is his original home. But he was here during the Second World War.
On the 8th of December, 1941, 10 hours after the attack on Pearl Harbor, the Japanese invaded the Philippines. The aerial bombardment forced the US troops stationed on the islands to retreat. By May 1942, the Philippines were under Japanese control.
So I was wondering maybe you could tell us a few stories about what it was like to be here during the Japanese invasion.
The Japanese forces came over and told my father, we'd like to take over the house. And my father said, but we have no place to go. They allowed us to occupy 2 rooms, but they occupied the whole house. We occupied those 2 rooms only here.
So how many people were sleeping in here?
The whole family.
The whole family?
Yes.
And how many brothers and sisters?
I have 8.
8? What was it like for you guys to have Japanese officers, I suppose, living in your house?
In fairness to the Japanese, the ones who lived here were officers.
Yeah.
They were educated, cultured.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, one of them knew how to play the piano well, classical music. There were some practices which we didn't like for instance, bowing. This is Japanese custom. We don't go for that. They forced the civilians to bow before them. And if you don't bow, you get a slap in the face. Of course, during the early days of the occupation, there were 3 beheadings here.
But not all were as lucky as Mr. Montuho. The Japanese ruled the Philippines with an iron fist. Notably, in 1942, just after the invasion, around 75,000 US and Filipino prisoners were marched from Mariveles 60 miles to San Fernando. Known as the Bataan Death March, it's thought up to 20,000 may have died on the journey.
So they stayed for 2 years, and then what happened? How did you get liberated? Because you were, as you said, you were the first to be liberated in the Philippines.
In these photos, you will see how it was in Tacloban when they, a few days after the landing.
This one is MacArthur. And was he here?
Yes.
General MacArthur, who had spent some of his interwar years in command of the Filipino army, vowed to return. And on October the 20th, 1944, he did, landing on the island of Leyte with a large US force to fulfill his promise to liberate the Philippines.
Did you know it was coming, or were you surprised as the Japanese?
We were just as surprised. You know, the landing started with the bombing of the airport.
Yeah.
We never had experience with any bombing.
Yeah.
Well, it frightened us. But then, when we saw the planes with the stars on their wings, they're here. I couldn't believe it. So some of us cried, some proud.
So where exactly did they land?
Where you're going?
Well, Red Beach.
Yeah.
And that's where it all took place.
Yeah.
That's where they landed.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. Amazing. Huge memorial, isn't it? This was where they first landed in the Philippines. Can you imagine this whole area, all of this, was probably just covered with army jeeps and landing craft, and can you imagine the big ships out back here?
MacArthur returned as he had promised.
You know, the war has touched everybody along the Pacific Rim, all over the place. There's little sort of reminders of the horrors of war. We left Tacloban and made for the town of Calbayog to meet a scrap metal guy who said he'd drop us off at our last ferry on our journey to Manila. Anyway, I'm here in this amazing scrapyard and I'm going to meet Ronnie. And Ronnie is apparently quite a character around here. And he's gonna take me to where we need to get the ferry.
Good to see you, sir.
Claudio, cameraman.
Hello, hi, Claudio.
So this is your kingdom, is it?
It's my kingdom. This is my empire.
Your empire. Yeah, that's even better, an empire.
Yeah.
This is where all the town people come and drop their scrap off
Yes.
to you.
It's still early because still no people coming here to sell their plastics, metals, whatever.
Not only does he get scrap metal, but he goes and he rescues trucks that have turned over, or he tows them and cuts it up for scrap metal.
I bought this Jeep for 40,000. If I'm going to sell, use it only for scrap, that cost will not reach buying capital. So what I did, there's an engine. I keep it, then I sell it for 35,000, 40,000.
Yeah.
So the whole Jeep is my profit.
Yeah.
Those tires, if they are still good, I sell it also.
Yeah. And he's quite shrewd and he's quite worldly and he's very switched
This is
on.
my wife.
If you look at everything here is all bits of scrap. There's this window here, that comes from what, a bus? And there's an old window there that has been salvaged.
Yes, also.
Everything has been salvaged.
But my wife is not. She's not a salvage.
No, she's not a salvage. But he seems a pretty inventive guy.
Yeah.
Do all the good ideas come from you?
From you. Yeah.
You invented
She's my
all-
inspiration.
Inspiration.
We're going to take those shipwreck steel.
Yeah. But how do you? So what? So you bite off people?
Yes. Who
get
went get it? We give them money to buy those materials, buy gasoline, buy dynamites.
Dynamite?
Yes.
What? They use dynamite?
Only homemade dynamite.
Really?
Yes. It was used before for fishing.
Yeah.
But now, no more fish. They use it
because they
for...
blew all the fish out. You give them the money to buy the dynamite, they go down, they blow it up, and then they take the scrap up. Dynamite fishing has been banned across the world, but some dynamite fishermen in the Philippines have turned their skills with explosives to retrieving scrap metal from the sea floor. They use the dynamite to break the pieces. This is an old Second World War American warship. Yeah, I got it. He wants to go a bit faster. I can see he's an impatient character. Likes to get on. Time is money. Action.
I always love action in my life.
He likes riding motorbikes. He loves messing around with trucks and cars and scrap and all sorts of stuff. All the stuff I love. So, like-minded people, maybe.
Saying birds with same feather flock together. Is it right?
It's right.
So we've just got off the boat and we're going to ride with these with this voluntary ambulance service for a little while. So let's go and see what they're up to. You're the medic.
Yeah.
Oh, you're
I'm
the guy. I'm
an
going to
EMT.
keep close to him.
I'm an EMT.
In case we crash, I'll make sure he's okay. Oh, brilliant. You're going to take us along a little bit.
We'll be passing the headquarters of the Scout Ranger Battalion.
Okay.
That's a few kilometers away from here. Then from there, we will be going to Legazpi City.
This is a voluntary ambulance service.
Yes.
And how many volunteers do you have?
In all chapters, we have easily we can say we have 3,000 to 5,000 members.
5,000.
Yeah.
What's the worst disaster that you guys have assisted?
During the flash flood in Albay, where hundreds of people died.
When was that?
November 2006.
Wow. It's a hard job though.
Yes.
To go and take the bodies and the
smells.
And they blow up as well.
Already, the bodies. And you have to have a very strong stomach.
Are there lots of motorbike accidents in the Philippines?
Because our motorcycle riders are reckless drivers.
Yeah.
They don't wear their safety gears.
Yeah.
An increase in activity from the communist militants in the northern islands of the Philippines have made it necessary for us to have a military escort for part of our journey to Manila, courtesy of the Scout Rangers.
Wow. Here we are. And 3rd Scout Rangers Battalion at your service across the land, anywhere, anytime. I like it. And so you're the commander?
I'm the battalion commander of this unit.
Oh, wow. And how many people are
I have
you under?
more or less 600.
600 guys?
600 guys.
Are they all good guys?
Yeah.
Of course they are.
The best guerrilla fighter here in Asia.
The Scout Rangers are the elite fighting regiment of the Philippine Army, the equivalent to our SAS. Their primary objective is to engage the Maoist NPA, New People's Army, who are communist freedom fighters.
I was in Mindanao for quite some time, and I had a lot of encounters against the lawless elements. 5 gunshot wounds.
Oh, so where? So in your arm and...
My arm, here, my back. All in all 5. And I was in the hospital for almost 2 years.
2 years?
Yeah, 2 years.
They give us a display of what they do and what each person's character is, and they have little patrols of 7.
I am a scout. I am the eyes and ears of the team. I'm Pepsi Ternura, the regiment. As regiment, I am in charge of all communication requirement of the team.
And you've got a sniper guy, you've got a guy who's trained at hand-to-hand combat.
Camera and knife for the silent killing.
I am the silent killer. I'm equipped with a knife to...
Presenting you the items that we recovered.
okay.
3 weeks ago, we had an encounter against the New People's Army, the communist terrorists here in the area, and we killed the commander.
And these are the bullets.
Yeah, this is the bullet, the entrance of the bullet, and it's exited here. And he instantaneously died right there and then.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. This was on his belt here, and he was fatally wounded through. It's all very real, really, and the magazine's got loads of bullet holes in it. Bloody hell, these guys are the real McCoy, you know?
These are the latest information that we got, that they will be staging ambush. But don't be scared. We will be moving along with your convoy wherever you go in our area of operations.
And the only thing is that they said they'll be following us because there's planned ambushes on our route. So I don't know if they'll be following us close by or just sort of... I'm quite happy that they're here because I don't think anybody will decide to attack us with these guys around. So the Army are very kindly going to give us a lift in this truck. Ambulance guys followed us up to mine and they were going off, then all dispersing, going back to their homes. I don't think we'll be bothered by any attacks today, somehow. We're just loaded up with machinery. Oh, accident. We'll take it out. Good, we'll check it out. Where's the victim? We were just in the ambulance. We just swapped over to the military truck and we've been following them. And we just come across this accident, this bike accident. That car stopped and he just slid right into it. The motorbike hit here and hit the exhaust as well. So we should move this out of the way. It looks like it wasn't that bad, but the guy's in real trouble. He's got a massive injury on his leg, huge injury. But fortunate that they were here. Okay. Had the ambulance guys not been here, God knows how long that guy would have been there. And I don't know if he's broken his bone or not. I don't know what the situation is, but very ugly. Very ugly, poor guy, but very lucky that the rescue guys were here.
The army have deemed the rest of our journey north to Manila safe. I'm hoping to get to Lopez by Sunday to see some cockfighting. This means we have just enough time here to meet up with the motorbike club.
And then watch a scooter race this afternoon, so that's what's going on. And hello, guys, hi. Hello, hi, Charlie.
Bingo.
Hi. Bingo. And are you all a member of the motorcycle club?
Yes. Yep.
Ah, and what club is this?
Extreme Riders.
Extreme Riders?
Yeah, of Naga City.
Ah, okay. And is there any specific motorbike, or does it matter what type of motorbike, or?
Anything from 50cc to 175. Specifically underbone.
Underbone, right, okay.
Underbone bike, yeah. Here is underbone bike.
Right, okay. And do you guys modify them and stuff as well, or?
Sometimes, yeah.
Sometimes. Put extra little bits on them. And which is your bike?
This one's mine.
Oh, this one I'm going to use. Oh, okay. 110cc.
But it's a good bike.
Yeah, and it looks great. Oh, test the bike. I think we're good. Sorry. So we're going to do a little bit of drag racing this afternoon and see who's the bravest of them all. Probably me, but you know.
Underbone bikes are basically normal bikes, but with the fuel tank under the seat and not between the legs of the rider. One of the earliest underbone bikes is the Honda 50, first built in 1958, and is the best-selling powered vehicle of all time.
And your name is?
I'm Ryan.
Ryan, Charlie, nice to meet you. So we're going to race together. And what extras have you put on your bike?
Just oil coolers, racing cams.
Racing cams?
Yeah.
How am I supposed to win with this?
I don't know.
Okay, well, let's try it, shall we? Have you heard what he's done with this bike? He's got carbs, he's done the piston, he's done everything. That's fantastic. Well done. Very, very quick bike.
Charlie needs a lot of practice, you know. Yeah. Well, it's his first time in underbone bikes. Yeah, that's okay.
But they're all really nice bunch of guys and just having fun. And it was great fun watching these guys go up and down on the drag racing and speeding everywhere. And it was very, very, very cool. Nice way to end a day, eh? We'll be in Manila tomorrow night. And then we've got a few more days, and then with a bit of luck, we have a boat which will take us to Taiwan. Just keep our fingers crossed. Hopefully it's all going good. There's a whole load of train tracks here. I don't use them anymore because the trains are too slow. Cars and trucks are just much faster. What has stayed, and what they do use all the time, is these little platforms with an engine. Hello. Hi. It's fantastic, isn't it? Look at this. And they just drop it on. Look, and just step it out. Anyway, so we're going to go on this for about an hour to get to this cockfighting.
normal trains that travel on here?
They're fixing the whole train lines of the Philippines. So that's what a better train, like the ones in Europe. They're gonna build new ones.
Just about the whole way along the railway track that we took, people live there, so there's houses right up against the railway tracks. At some stages, it's so close that you almost touch the buildings.
I mean, are they going to build the new one here?
Of course, but they're gonna move farther. They have to clear the space.
Oh, what do you mean? So people living on the side here will have to go?
Yes, all of them have to.
Well, they will move back or go completely?
They'll be gone completely because the lands all over there and over there are owned by private individuals.
Wow.
All these people. Where will they go?
They're taking someone off.
The rule is the one heavier is the one staying.
He's just standing there, holding the whole train just by himself.
These guys, they open up a little hatch and they step inside and then get on their shoulder and they lift the whole thing off so they can do the whole thing by themselves. We must have had to have gotten off 3 or 4 times, have to get off the tracks to let the others by, and about 5 or 6 times, maybe more, people got off the track for us.
Oh, what's this?
Sample.
Sample, that's what it's called. I don't think
Not
it's a sample.
not so sweet, not so sweet.
There you
Sample.
go. Bit of salt.
Another one, another one. You like it, sir?
Yeah.
Very sweet, not sweet.
Not so sweet, no.
Yes, yes,
I thought she was saying it was sweet, but she's saying it's not so sweet.
Not so sweet.
We're just going into the cockfight now and see what's happening. There's only a few fights left, but we're going to have a look.
We went in, met the guy who owns the place.
I've never been to one of those fights before, so explain to me how the whole thing works.
Yes, this is cockfight.
Yeah.
It's an ordinary day, so you have to find your opponent.
Yeah.
Unlike other derbies, you have to weigh. Same way, then you have to fight. But this one, you have to find your own opponent.
The owners of the cocks decide amongst themselves which bird will fight. To make them more aggressive, they face the birds together and tease them. There can be up to 50 fights a day, depending on how many people turn up with a bird.
From what I can gather, they have already decided who's going to fight who. And so, and they have these guys are the guys who put who are the dressers. They put the spurs on. But the blades are so sharp. It's just incredible. So after this, after they've decided and they put the blades on,
Yes, they will have to go to the arena.
oh, they win and they go straight into fight.
Yes.
When did cockfighting start here
In the Philippines?
Yeah, in the
It's
Philippines.
a long time ago, since Spanish time.
Since Spanish time.
Yeah.
Oh, did the Spanish introduce it?
You're correct.
Ah. Oh, so it's in your blood.
Yeah. It's all in Filipinos' blood.
There's a fight now.
Yeah, there's a fight.
Okay. What's this?
Who will go? The one the pack that will win will going to get this.
I was going to get this.
Yeah.
Ah, I see.
1,000 pesos.
1,000 pesos. But look at all the betting going on. Do you get a piece of the betting?
Let's say they bet 5,500 pesos.
Yeah.
500 for me.
It's 500 to you. Okay. So you provide the place, you make a little bit of money on the betting?
Yes. And on the gate as well.
So here it goes.
Good, see? Yes, that's it.
Jesus. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh, they're going for it with each other, aren't they?
2. That's it.
Oh, that's it. It's dead.
You have to pick.
Oh, that was
the winner one.
fast. So what will happen to that now?
You have to go. We're going to eat it.
We're going to eat it.
In America, they ban this.
Yeah, sure. Well, in Europe, everywhere. Yeah. In Europe as well.
This is business. People like it. People love it, and they make money as well. That's business.
I'm quite speechless, actually. I find it as, yeah, that was the last fight. And boy, that was a doozy, wasn't it? Oh, it's not great. It really isn't. So he won the money, but died anyway. You know what I feel like? I feel like I really want to scrub myself clean. I feel really dirty. I don't like it. So.
It's a national pastime.
It is. It's a national pastime here, and it's fine. I have no qualms about it being done, but it's that's just what they do, and that's what people do. But for me, it's just not for me. It just isn't for me.
After the cockfight, we had arranged to stay in a government-run farm. They picked us up on one of their trucks, which was delivering feed to the animals.
Most comfortable ride we've had so far. Actually, it's not that comfortable. It's all prickling to my back.
This is our farm, and I'm the proprietor of this farm. It's mostly cows, but we also have goats.
Right.
Yeah.
Livestock in the Philippines tends to be of low quality and susceptible to disease. The farm runs a distribution program to upgrade the livestock line in the region by introducing resilient breed cattle and goats from Australia.
And how do the local farmers get them? Do they buy them off you, or...?
No, it's free.
It's free?
Aside from the cattle, we also have goats.
Yeah.
Just in case of the different farmers who don't have enough land.
Yeah.
This is a particular breed. It's called a boer. Tomorrow we'll be delivering one male and one female goat to one of our recipients, just to give you an idea on how the program works.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds great.
It's customary here in the province of Quezon.
Yeah.
That all our guests would take a welcome drink. Yeah, I guess in other parts of the world, I guess also.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and here in Quezon, it's lambanog. It's basically like coconut wine, but a little stronger than wine. I'd say like probably coconut vodka.
More like so 40% or something like that.
Maybe like 80 to 90%.
80 to 90.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it sounds like you could run a car on it.
It's pretty good though. It's pretty good. It's just basically coconut juice that stored and fermented and kept and distilled, and that's it. Charlie first.
Charlie's guinea pig. Here's to the cows and goats.
Thank you for coming over. You're always welcome here. Always welcome.
Thank you. Cheers. Thank you very much. Yeah. Sláinte, as they say in Ireland.
I had a couple of shots. He said it's tradition when people visit his farm that you have to have a couple of shots of this stuff. We end up drinking the whole bottle.
That has no hangover. No hangover.
Right, you're sure?
No, I'm kidding. No, I'm not kidding.
Is that growing up? Oh, dear.
There you go.
In the casino, right?
You go to a casino. Now it's hard. Okay.
The place we're going to next.
You did it.
Yeah. It doesn't do anything.
Don't even say it.
Wow, I feel quite drunk.
I don't believe you.
Tipsy.
I don't believe you.
I don't want to stand up.
So, feeling a bit delicate today, heading to Manila today. We're going to jump off a couple of goats first this morning.
1, 2, 3. You want to ride with them, yeah?
Yeah, why not?
The farmer family, we're gonna give these two to. Basically, they've got local goats, and we'll give them a male and a female.
And the idea is to upgrade the line.
Yeah. Just hold him up. All right.
Hello, hi, Charlie.
This is
Hello.
Van Clark.
Van Clark.
Yeah, he's our recipient for today. And we'll give him one male, one female. And maybe in 5 months, we can expect little Charlies and little Claudios. Yeah?
Okay.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Wow, 2 new goats.
Yeah.
Yeah, last night, Claudia, we had a little coconut vodka.
Yeah, and we're sweating it out right now.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. I can smell it coming out of my pores at the moment.
Yeah, me also.
I'm not sure if it's the goat or the vodka.
Congratulations. I'll see you in 5 months.
I'm very impressed with what you guys have done, what your family are doing in the areas. It's brilliant.
But listen, thanks for the hospitality
coming.
last night as well.
I'll see you soon.
I'll see you later, mate. Take care. Thanks for everything. So we're off now to the jeepney factory, which jeepneys are massive in the Philippines. It's pretty much how they take everybody everywhere are in jeepneys, and all different sizes. So we're going to go to the factory and have a look. But we're ultimately getting to Manila tonight. For me, it feels like a real milestone. We're sort of more than halfway, really. We just got Taiwan and Japan next. With a bit of luck, we're going to get a boat. It's not the right time of year to sail across, really. You know, the wind, the currents are against us, really. So, you know, the chances of having big waves is high. Wow, look at this place. It's amazing. Jeepneys everywhere. Oh my God.
So actually, they are the present generation of the Army Jeep during World War II.
Yeah.
So Manila was devastated and we need to mobilize the people. We put into use the military equipment, especially the Jeep. What we have here is a replica of the World War II Jeep. They customized the Army Jeep into a cross between a car and a Jeep.
So this bit here is what?
We do the seats.
Uh-huh.
We use local materials like coconut.
Oh, what, for the stuffing?
Yeah, inside. The vinyl cover.
Oh, so that goes on there, and then the vinyl goes on there.
Uh-huh.
Oh, wow. Beautifully shaped. Oh, that's the finished product?
Yeah.
Oh, this is the engine?
This one is a newly installed engine. This one is brought by the owner. It's from his old jeepney, and he transferred it to the new body chassis. Say you have an old rickety jeepney, and you want a new body, you can order it to us, and we can mount your old reliable engine again.
It's quite basic, isn't it? I mean, it really is.
Everything here is simple, basic, practical, and multi-purpose.
Yeah. So the plan is to take this to where we're staying tonight. I'd say taxi. Look, you see the brake light here. Look. Just to remind you that you are braking. Oh wow! Great noise. I love that. It's so funny. We were going to take the jeepney from the factory into the heart of Manila, and everyone had said to me, "Oh, you know, Charlie, it's going to be tough in that traffic. Manila traffic's mad." Yeah, baby! Woo! Where are we going? Oh, onto the highway. Yeah. Okay. Manila! Bloody hell. Fuck you.
And it was actually ended up being quite stressful. I must say, it was the end of the day, quite tired.
The deeper and deeper we got into Manila, the more stressful it became. Quite stressful driving around here. We're in the heart of Manila. What a nice way to arrive in a crazy city. We've made it to Taiwan.
I'm not sure if I can handle being a monk 4:30 every morning.
Turtle testicle. Best riding in the world that I've ever done, and I've been around a bit.
I don't think he likes the bikers.
Last year, we finished here in Sydney on the last by any means, and we come all the way from Ireland. And now, I'm doing it again. But this time, I'm going from Sydney up the Pacific Rim all the way to Japan by any means of transport. I'm going to do some amazing biking.
We might be the first motorbikes to come up here.
Discover the impact of World War II.
All of this was just covered with landing craft.
And eventually end up in Tokyo.
We're in the Philippines.
I've traveled about halfway up the Philippines on my way to Taiwan.
Navy life for me. Diddly-day-doo. But the blades are so sharp. I wouldn't come again. These guys are the real McCoy.
And I've got as far as Manila.
And we were going to take the jeepney into the heart of Manila. It's the jeepneys that actually slow everything down in this town. So they're always picking people up, they're always blocking the way. But we're here. And the day that we said we'd be here, that's not bad. And we've done it in the most beautiful jeepney. What a nice way to arrive in a crazy city.
Manila, capital of the Philippines, is ranked as one of the most densely populated cities in the world, with 11 million people crammed into a space 3 times smaller than London. The thing you notice most are the number of children living on the street. They say that something like 250,000 children sleep rough in the city. With no one to look after them, they may end up involved in crime or even prostitution.
We met this guy, Butch, who works with the street children. He was a street child himself.
Charlie, would like you to meet Edwin.
Edwin.
Edwin, his father is living in the streets with him.
Right.
So he's a single parent. The mother abandoned them 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And at this moment, his father is sick. So the father said that if I could be an assistant to him, that he wants his son to stay in a shelter.
So can you show me where you live?
Children like Edwin end up on the street often because of poverty, family problems, and domestic violence.
He walks around as if he owns the street, doesn't he? Sort of walking around clicking his fingers, you know.
The main problem is that this way of life becomes the norm.
He puts some old boxes there, and then that's where they sleep.
Up against
He
here.
and his father.
And is it really noisy at night time here?
Oh, kahit may ingay, natutulog ka na lang. Hindi mo na inintindi. He says he doesn't mind. It's noisy. What's important, he goes to sleep.
So where do you wash?
Lalaba.
Dito.
Oh, it's always pissing. It's amazing how the kids and everybody live. I mean, they live here. This is it. This is the kitchen and the washing room, and over there is the bedroom. And it's really, really hard. And the kids don't get a chance to develop properly, and they don't get a chance to go to school. But luckily, people like you are there to at least try and help them and give some of the kids a chance.
Yes, I think because, well, of course, UNICEF has been helping us for quite many years. So I think we just supported that.
We work in partnership with a non-government organization like Childhood, and a street educator like Butch is the one reaching out to these street children and then encourage these children to attend this alternative learning session.
One of the problems with street children is that they've learned to fend for themselves, but they don't know how to open up. So if you're just someone who comes in and says, look, why are you on the street? They'll just back off. Whereas this guy, Butch, he understands them and he guides them and then helps them get back into education, hopefully back into society and a job.
This is a walking class. It's a mobile van that we had our DVD player in there, and what they're watching now is about values or about health. It depends. Life skills. Talk about substance abuse. It's not a classroom setting. The kids are doing the inputs. We are just facilitating them.
Here, you go like this. There we go. So what's happening here is they do these games. One, because the games are fun anyway, but each of them are designed to put life skills into children in a kind of fun way, and they clearly enjoy it.
Without education, these children will spend the rest of their lives begging, hustling, or involved in prostitution. But by educating them, at least they stand a chance of getting off the streets. I've only got 2 more days left in the Philippines, and I'm heading up the west coast to Subic Freeport, where I'm planning to catch a boat 365 miles to Taiwan. We've been trying to get a boat from the Philippines to Taiwan for forever, and we've finally found this 90-footer, which is a good size. So I hooked up with some locals who knew the road ahead really well.
Are you Big John?
Yeah, that's me.
John, how are you? Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
What a place.
Mad Dogs are just these club members who are like a Hells Angels type of guys, really. There's expats, there's Filipino, there's all sorts of people. It's for everybody.
And these are some of the boys here.
Oh, yeah. It's just a small group. Then we get 60 guys, 60 members here in Manila, Philippines. So.
For the journey up the coast, the boys entrusted me with this beautiful old-school 1600 hardtail chopper. With custom exhaust, rims, and God knows what else. It means I'm riding out of Manila in style.
That's all right. That's fantastic. Don't you love that sound in the morning? It sort of reminds me of a ride. Wow, it's a tough old bugger to ride, this one. You've got to remember how long it is. It's a great feeling to be riding out of Manila and on a beautiful holiday with a whole bunch of guys.
We rode 60 miles up the coast to a town called Clark.
It's always nice to park in the bar that you're going to drink in.
While they settle in for the night, I've got a flight to catch.
The idea today is to get from here, Clark, over to get the boat in Subic. And these guys have this microlight club here in Clark, and they said that they would fly us down there to the Navy base where the boat is waiting for us.
I'm just admiring your place. It's the most amazing place.
Morning.
Morning, yeah, wow, incredible.
Welcome. We're a private club. We've got about 100 members. So we've got about 20 privately owned planes, and there's 4 or 5 club aeroplanes, so you don't have to own a plane. Just come here and rent and
fly.
Yep.
Okay, clear prop.
Well, it's the only way to fly, really, isn't it? So, tell me a little bit about the plane and what she can do.
Well, it's officially classed as an ultralight aircraft.
Yeah.
It's a little 2-stroke engine on the back of it. Top speed here sits at 100. Yeah. It'll fly faster than 100, but first of all, the windshield will start to come in. This one will come all the way down to about 34, 35 before it stalls. Yeah. I'll stall it for you if you want me to. That's right. All right. Okay, this is a stall. See, we just let the airspeed drop off, and then the nose goes down.
Wow.
And then we're back flying again.
That was quite a nice feeling. And so how long have you lived over here?
On and off for about 25 years.
Right. Well, I can see why you love it here. It's just beautiful.
Just look down and beautiful rice fields and mountains, and just the whole experience was just fantastic.
Civic Air 1457, now on finals, 2 miles to land, runway 27.
After flying 40 miles, we came down to land in Subic International Airport.
That's a big old runway, isn't it? Very different.
It is.
It was formerly a US naval base that played a large part in the Vietnam War.
It was basically where they ran the whole of the Vietnam War from here. All the big B-52 bombers landed here, refueled and carried on. At one stage, it was 40,000 troops around these parts, and now it's empty. Now this is the biggest plane that ever comes into here. These 3 planes here. We landed in the international part of the airport, and there's no one here. We're heading over to the yacht club now to see the boat for the first time. I'm quite excited, actually, to see the boat, where our little home is going to be for the next 3 days. Wow, oh my gosh, it's a huge boat. Bloody enormous. Look at it at the end. We've had months to try and find a boat, and no one's been able to find a boat. I mean, one of the problems that everybody flies now is so cheap to fly. So all these little boats that used to go back and forward all the time just don't go back and forward anymore.
Hi, I'm
Charlie. Charlie,
nice
good to see you.
This is Sting. This is
hello. Hi.
Sting.
Nice to see you. Sting.
This is Sting, and this is Mark. One cabin in here. They've all got their own aircon.
Okay. It was such a relief to be able to be on a boat, to be able to travel across the sea. It was big enough for it to be a relatively comfortable trip.
Sun lounge.
Sun lounge. The sun deck. But the one problem we had was weather.
Just as you arrived, I'm just checking on the weather. We might have a little bit of a problem.
Oh, really?
Well, the problem is we've got a southwesterly monsoon. Yeah. So it's coming this way.
Right, okay.
You know, when that's still within proximity, I don't want to risk going out there.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm monitoring it as we speak.
Right.
See what happens. But I think we're going to have at least a one-day delay.
There's 2 fronts that are just slapping our way at the moment. It would be so depressing if we had to bail on this boat. I mean, look at it. It's beautiful, huge, this thing. It'd be so much fun. We just got to pray that it's going to be okay.
Balloons here showing potential zones for those heavy tropical showers. Also, a big lump of rain heading towards the Philippines over the next couple of days or so. In Manila itself, temperatures are just up.
The problem is, it's a monsoon sort of season, so it brings rain and obviously high seas. The boat's ready to go, we're ready to go, but the weather is not.
We went out on Derek's rib, and it became completely obvious that the weather was not on our side.
You can see on the horizon that there's quite a bit of lumpy water out there. If you look to the horizon and you can see there's chop.
Yeah, then you don't want to be in it.
By the time you get there, it's a big wave.
We've just had a couple of typhoons pass by the top of the Philippines, in between the Philippines and Taiwan. One is now sitting on there, and there's another one developing behind it. So if that goes and this one comes, then we're stuffed.
So, what's the
situation,
Captain?
The situation is that's the one that's gone through and is now hitting Taiwan, and this is the one that's developing and is heading up, and it's going to come on at probably track the same or very similar to the last one.
Yeah.
There's low pressures everywhere.
Oh my God!
It's just a big mess, you know. So the chances of going anywhere are 0.
What happens is these typhoons are 300 miles wide, and they leave huge seas behind. And he said you can't risk going knowing that another one's coming.
It could last up to 2 or 3 weeks, and I just don't have that time. So, sadly, it's back to Manila and onto a plane to Taiwan. Located 100 miles off the southeast coast of China, Taiwan is a small, densely populated island. We touched down in Kaohsiung City in the southeast corner of the country. Taiwan is a country of contrasts. It is one of the main industrial economies in Asia and is one of the largest exporters of electrical components in the world. Yet it is a country of the most dramatic natural scenery set in a subtropical climate. I've arrived just in time for the opening ceremony of the World Games.
Ah, are you guys here for the games? And you do gymnastics, I suppose?
Yes. Now, the World Games are interesting because they're all this kind of sports which don't make it to the Olympics, so it's all sorts of really weird games.
Are you nervous?
No.
No. Now that is the stadium, isn't it? Apparently the whole thing is powered by solar panels, and this is where the World Games opening ceremony is going to be tonight.
The World Games, like the Olympics, occurs every 4 years. It's an international multi-sport event. This year, more than 3,000 athletes from 91 countries are taking part.
Oh, here become the Olympians. No, well, the World Gamesians.
It's a testing ground for new sports that someday hope to make it into the Olympics. And tomorrow, I'll be limbering up with one of the teams.
We had arranged to go and see this dragon boat racing and the practicing with dragon boat racing.
Look, you must be joking. I can't even canoe.
So we headed down there, met up with the American team to say that maybe I could go out and row with them.
Dragon boat racing originated in China over 2,000 years ago. The design of dragon boats hasn't really changed much, although today the competition boats are more likely to be made of carbon fiber rather than traditional teak wood.
Someone was telling me that there's 3 different races. In one race, you go all the way up, turn around, and then all the way back.
It's a round race, 2,000 meters, so it's 4 500s. So there's 3 turns.
3 turns.
And it's a chariot race. You try to get as close as you can, all of that.
So it must all be about the corners and how well you can take
Set
it.
up
It's won
for
and
the
lost
corners,
there,
yes,
isn't it?
yes.
And if there's smaller boats in the way
And you're not supposed to hit anybody, but it happens every time.
How long have you been involved in dragon boat?
I think this is my 18th year.
18th
18
year.
years. Yeah, and we do year-round.
So are you the sort of the mum of the team? Do you sort of...
I am on this trip. I'm absolutely the mum of this team.
So do you think this is going to make it to the Olympics?
I hope it becomes an Olympic sport.
Because it looks...
It's so exciting and so big. I just think it meets all of the criteria to be an Olympic sport.
They very kindly offered if I could jump on the boat with them, and they made a huge effort to get me on the boat.
How's he gonna do, Ken?
It's tough. It's tough. You'll see, won't you?
You're in a day.
And by God, did they go. I mean, you know, they were going at half pace with me, and everyone was going, pull back and deeply pull back and deeply pull. And you've got to go with the team, because if you go slightly out, you cut the person in front of you.
You guys are not I got like the first 1 or 2
Way to go,
paddles,
brother.
and then I was out.
You did great.
Managed to get back in there.
You did pull your blade, though.
Give me a sweet punch right in the back.
I did, yeah, sorry about that.
He lost his paddle.
Oh, shit, was that yours there? Was that there?
Yeah, you
I'm sorry about that.
Charlie did just fine. He took out my shoulder, though. I think he cut me in the back here.
Oh, no.
So he wounded me before the World Games.
I think I'm in better shape, don't you? Look at this.
Since '85, there's a core of us that have been doing these dragon boat races since they started in the early '80s.
In the 80s, all right. So some of you
55.
55 years old.
Yeah.
Really? How old are you?
6 kids.
55 grandkids. 53. 53. That's the real deal.
42.
After all that exertion, it was time to leave Kaohsiung. And what better way than on Taiwan's most popular mode of transport, the motorbike.
Back on bikes. It's always nice, especially when it's hot and humid. But everyone rides scooters here, so it's nice to sort of start the whole trip on scooters.
One of the major faiths in Taiwan is Buddhism. So it was only right that I paid a visit to Taiwan's largest Buddhist monastery, Fo Guangshan.
Hello, that is amazing. It's beautiful.
Welcome. Hello.
Hi, Charlie. Nice to see you.
Hui Shou.
Hui Shou.
Unpronounceable. My title is actually our specialist for European guests.
Oh, I see.
Very
Okay.
fancy title.
Very
yeah.
fancy, a very long title. And how long have you been here?
A little bit more than 9 years here, and before 2 years in South Africa with Red Temple. But I was already Buddhist in Austria.
Right.
Austria.
And you're originally from Austria?
Yeah, Austria, yeah.
Wow.
Fo Guangshan Monastery may look ancient, but it's just over 40 years old and is the largest Buddhist monastery in Taiwan, housing over 1,000 monks.
We have several times a year we have big functions, it's all full here. And therefore we need so much space. So we have these 3 pilgrims lodges, 5,000 to 6,000 people can stay overnight here.
6,000
people can stay overnight here.
I didn't quite expect the temple to be so big. I mean, it was an enormous temple, one of the biggest Buddhas I've ever seen sitting on top of this mountain. That's the sort of calling card, isn't it, of this
yes,
place?
from very far away. Even from a highway bridge, you can see with Buddha, or from very far away if you come from that direction. And here around with 480 little statues. Some should symbolize with 48 vows that he made to create this pure land, which is a sort of paradise heaven where people want to go to.
Meditation is a large part of the Buddhist faith, and people come from all over the world to attend classes at the monastery.
Meditation is essentially not religious. It can be used for religious purposes, but actually it's only a tool. For one, concentration meditation for sharpening our mind and also calming the mind, and inside meditation to know ourselves better.
Makes sense. I can see why you...
It works. It works. It works for me.
When you do these yoga classes, and having to sit in one position made me feel really angry. It was about 15 years ago, was the last time I did meditation. Meditation. Then I got the ends falling asleep.
Just going to go into morning prayers and just have a look at what it's like, and all the monks are turning up now, dressed in beautiful robes. I'm not sure if I could handle being a monk at 4:30 every morning. Not for me.
You don't know about your luck yet.
You got,
You
like,
should
big
see our
kitchens?
big dining hall, 3,500 people, that you will be eating there. Buddhist monastic style, no talking. Can you imagine that, no talking?
That's why, you know, when I do these long trips on motorbikes,
it's your kind of meditation.
Yeah, you have your helmet on, there's no distraction, there's nobody to talk to on the seat beside you, no radio.
As long as you don't get too much distracted from the road.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, otherwise you're in big trouble.
Yes.
Never expected peanut butter. No. That's a curveball, that one. Just didn't expect that. Could do with some jam.
I tell you, I'm not sure if I could be a monk to get up early every morning. Kind of ruins your day. That's why they have that very peaceful look, monks, because they're just all knackered all the time.
Feeling spiritually refreshed, I hitch a lift in a post van and continue up the west coast. Stopping in Sin Shui for something a little less peaceful.
Charlie.
Charlie.
Nice to meet you.
How are you?
Sheje An, cricket fighter.
The guy who met cricket fighter was lovely, and he had a real sparkle in his eye, and he was a real naughty chappie.
Oh, 这是我繁殖的蟋蟀的地方。
Wow, look, hang on, listen. Loads of crickets.
因为我是繁殖，专门是斗蟋蟀用，所以数量会比较少。
Not so many. There's hundreds in there. They look like cockroaches to me.
How long does it take to make a fighter? And how do you know which one is good?
从卵那一刹那开始，温度必须28度以上。28度以上，它在9天它就会从那个卵里面爬出来。
So these ones are ready to fight.
还没有，还必须隔离。
Oh, here he's got little cricket boxes. And so what is this instrument?
这根是那个鱼竿的尾部。
And you tickle it on.
You tickle it on here. Looks so aggressive.
Did you have one particular cricket that won many fights?
有，但是就是说它蟋蟀它寿命不长，只是100天而已。 所以这100天之内必须好好的去利用它。
Of course, they don't last very long, do they? And he's got plenty more to take its place. Ugh, it's a fun little creep. I keep thinking of like running down my trousers.
I see. Cricket. It's illegal to gamble in this country. It's not illegal to cricket fight, but it's illegal to gamble. So the closest we could get was to this sort of demonstration. So he's going to choose a cricket to fight against this puppy here. So he's got to tickle it. Okay, he's angry now.
Fights last a few minutes and end when the winner starts singing.
Come on.
And the loser runs away.
Oh, they're big pinchers, isn't it? I mean, they're vicious. Oh, come on. His one's winning. Now he's singing. No, he's running away, I see. Okay. Yeah, but this one's won. Oh, I'm sorry. Damn. I want a rematch. And normally, are there lots of people betting normally, and then you collect the money?
No.
No money?
No.
No money? You'll never find anyone to film them actually gambling. The police come down on them really hard, so they all hide, but guaranteed he does it illegally, I'm sure, because he was a totally different person watching the fighting. Crickets. Watch them fight, and now you eat them. I suppose there's no wastage. I went into the kitchen and had a look at how they did it and gutted them, and you've got to break the heads off, pull out all the guts. Oh, it just popped in my eye. Pus everywhere. This is not a happy moment for me, I must say. Stuff it up the arse there.
Yeah.
Put a bit of ginger in, deep fry them. I just saw them laying eggs. See all the gunk that came out. And then eat them. Oh my God. Just scratched my throat on the way down. It's the spiky bits on the legs that are quite painful. I'm not so keen. I don't think he eats them that often, does he? Look, since we've have eaten the crickets, and apparently it's not something that's particularly on the menu these days. So I thought I'd go in to the restaurant and see if anybody wants to eat a cricket.
Very good.
Very good. How about you? Do you want to try? No? One, 2, 3. So I think it was a success. I love the fact that little kids and everyone tried it. I'm not sure if lots of kids in Britain would have tried that. Brave kids.
We pushed on to our next destination, a tea plantation high up in the Alishan Mountains, to taste the world's finest tea. To get there, we needed to take the bullet train from Tainan to Chiayi. And for my journey to the station, I took something a little more primitive.
What is that? That is bizarre. We jump in this weird bastardized three-wheeler kind of thing, and it's just the most weird-looking motorbike I think I've ever seen. Oh my gosh, it looks like a motorcycle engine, right, with a car transmission. You know, normally that would be the chain going to the back wheel, and they've turned it sideways, and they've just stuck a shaft drive onto it, and it's shaft-driven. Extraordinary. Motorbikes that just makes me feel really happy. I love the whole thing. It's so agricultural. It's a bit slow, but it's kind of good. It's perfect for around town. It's all you need. I'm just going to switch on my nitrous oxide. Go for it, ready? 3, 2, 1. So from the old to the ultra-modern now, onto this bullet train. Bullet train is kind of amazing, beautiful design and shape, and all done with clinical precision. And when you pull off, it almost doesn't feel like it's moving. I mean, this thing does 200 kilometers an hour. You barely feel the movement. I mean, it was a pretty amazing train.
Taiwan's high-speed railway is based on the Japanese bullet train. With speeds of over 300 kilometers an hour, our 70-kilometer journey to Chiayi only took 17 minutes.
They got everything right, didn't they?
From Chiayi, we took a post office truck up into the Alashan Mountains, an area renowned for its tea growing.
Is it often like this?
Although it makes driving tricky, the cool, moist climate is ideal for growing tea.
Thank you very much.
It's been a long old day, and we finally arrived at our destination, Shangli Tea Farm. What a perfect way to end a day, eh? Nice cup of tea. Cheers.
This is by any means tea picking.
And who better to help pick the leaves but award-winning tea farmer Lo Hui Mei?
How many types of tea do you grow here? And what tea is this again? Tea. And
Hui Mei started the farm 20 years ago and now produces 20,000 kilos of tea a year, exporting it all around the world.
See this leaf? That's a mature leaf. That is the fresh bud. And that's what makes the tea beautiful and taste and lovely, and that obviously isn't. Do some of the guys listen to music or listen to their iPods when they're picking? Tea songs? Oh, does she know any tea songs? No, Paul, we won't make her sing anymore. It's not fair.
After the tea is picked, it's first steamed to soften the leaves, then rolled to release the flavor, and then finally dried.
Wow. Look at that. So this is green tea, and this is the end product of green tea here. It's a pretty quick process, isn't it? You imagine in your mind that it would take days and days for it to dry and all that kind of stuff, but it really doesn't. So we're just going to now have the reap of my reward. This is the tea that I picked.
You know, all these things, you appreciate it much more when you see the love and dedication there is to making it, you know? Can you stick a tea bag in a teacup and just pour water? You don't think about it, do you?
娘家爸爸不赞同我们先生的爸爸妈妈都不赞同。
Oh, right, so they were all against it, were they? They thought you were mad, did they?
对啊，大家都笑我们夫妻是疯子。
Wow, the pioneer. When she first started, she produced 200 kilos of tea. And now she produces organically 20,000 kilos of tea, which is quite an amazing success story, especially when you think about that all her family thought they were crazy. Maybe that was just the little edge she needed to have the success. Cheers. So she must have asbestos mouth, that one, because she just necked it in one.
Thank you very much. Oh, and you're coming with us. And he's going to give us a lift in this truck to the train station.
Lo Hui Mei's son kindly gave us a lift to the train station where we were catching the Alashan mountain train back down to Chiayi.
Touristy little village, this. I suppose because of the tea mountains and all the tea here, they've kind of grown it into a big tourist industry.
Ginger, this is ginger tea.
I'll try it. Delicious. My God, what's this? Ice cream. Oh, with peanuts. That is quite amazing. Hello. Oh, that is an amazing sausage.
So you do these lunch boxes?
Lunch box, yes.
Yeah. 3 chicken, 1 pork. I eventually settled on the traditional Taiwanese lunchbox to see us down the mountain. The Anishan Forest Railway was originally constructed by the Japanese in 1912. At the next stop, I jumped in with the driver to find out more.
What was the purpose of building this railway track?
哦，对，就是日本人他看到阿里山很大片的那个日本看到扁柏跟红块，就是他们想办法把这个东西带回日本。从海拔30公尺到2451，最低是30公尺，加一。
Wow, it's a long drop.
看这条片图啊，它这个地方就是在照那个山，照那个圆圈，在那个绕圈子，绕3圈。
I feel a bit seasick in this car. It's so rickety and old. And it might have something to do with all the garlic. I've eaten so much garlic today. So here, this got washed out during one of the big storms, and it washed away part of the railway track. So you have to walk this bit now, and we get another train on the other side. Luckily, there was a couple of trains on this side and a couple of trains on that side. Otherwise, you know, the railway track would be over. Imagine if all the trains were down there. No busy town up there. Right, let's go.
We travelled back down the mountain to Chiayi City, then headed east deep into central Taiwan towards the TOKYO National Park.
The next day we were going to get on these motocross bikes, and we met up with these guys, and they turned up and they were proper off-road riders. Good to see you guys, good to see you.
Hi.
And you're?
I'm Clint.
Clint,
Yeah.
okay, Clint.
I'm Joseph.
Joseph.
I'm June.
Meng Jung.
Yeah.
One was a doctor, the girl owned a motorbike shop, and one was a professional motocross rider here in Taiwan, and they're all really enthusiastic and really ready for a ride.
Maybe we see some fun trail. Okay. We can have an adventure.
Yeah, sounds good to me. It's quite nice to get back on proper dirt bikes. There's nothing better in the world than fellow bikers, twisty roads, and the possibility of a bit of dirt. We headed up into the mountains and we found this lovely bit of track, this dirt track. And we went down, down, down into this dirt track and came across this massive valley.
I never ride this way.
My God, this could be the end of the trip. We could see all these roads, these great dirt roads all up the valley and through all the plantations that they have. Incredible view, huh? It's just amazing, isn't it, how they just make fields anywhere on the mountains and just grow anything. Because up here you can grow vegetables. They grow cabbages and all sorts of stuff up here.
It's frequent happen that earth slide
here
in this kind of mountain cliff. Yeah.
Well, because people cut the mountain.
Sometimes it's really dangerous. Yeah.
But that's nice.
But we are lucky.
Yeah. We headed back onto the tarmac to head over the mountain pass, and we went up to well over 3,000 meters at one stage. It looks like Europe.
Oh, yeah.
You could be in Switzerland here.
Oh.
And then we started riding down through the mountains, through this gorge. Some of the best tarmac in the world I think I've ever had. I mean, there wasn't a single bit of straight road anywhere. It was all, everything had a bit of a kink to it, or sharp bends or whatever, and we were just cruising through these roads. It was just beautiful. We've basically come right the way across from the west side of Taiwan all the way across to the east side here now. One of the amazing things is this countryside. We've gone from sort of Swiss mountains back down to jungle. Anybody ever wants to ride a motorbike and really just have a wonderful time, come here, because it's some of the best riding in the world that I've ever done. And I've been around a bit. I'm very excited about getting to Taipei, actually. You know, it's always interesting to go to the capital of a country. I always feel like I've achieved a kind of a goal that we need to get to.
到达终点高雄站。本次列车下一个停靠
We've made it to Taipei. That's just awesome. It's a real milestone. This is the top of Taiwan. It's just brilliant. You can't miss the thing I'm most excited about, Taipei 101. At 1,670 feet, it's the highest skyscraper in the world, 195 feet taller than New York's Empire State Building. Look at the size. It makes you dizzy when you look up. Carolyn's very kindly going to take us up the tallest building in the world.
With the fastest elevator.
The fastest elevator in the world. But apparently it's not going to be the tallest building in the world for much longer, is it? Isn't Dubai has put the clause in that?
Right, but however the construction in Dubai is being delayed, so we can stay as the tallest building for probably another year or so.
Another year or so, she's just holding on.
Yeah, holding on.
My God, it is so fast. Look, we are already at 81, 82, 86, we're almost there.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have arrived at 89th floor observatory. Thank you.
We're on the 91st floor, so we are not actually at the very top. 101 is just up there, so it's another 10 floors up, which we can't go up to because it's closed. It's mind-boggling looking down and seeing how high we are. Normally you'd be up here on a plane, not a building.
Taipei 101 is home to 12,000 office workers. Its unique shape was designed by architect C.Y. Lee and allows it to withstand typhoons and earthquakes.
Because we're so high, the building is subject to a bit of movement. And what happens when the building starts to sway like this, the dampener inside counteracts the swaying. It stops the building from moving too much. Big gold ball. Pretty cool, that. There's a guy. I was just thinking, I wonder how they keep the windows clean outside. And you would have thought it would be some kind of electronic device, but it's two blokes. These guys are just sitting there quite relaxed. Look, just cleaning windows. It's got to be one of the maddest jobs in the world.
It was all very impressive, but I was still glad to get back down to earth. In Taiwan, scooters are everywhere. They're cheap to own and even cheaper to maintain. So with my love of bikes, I couldn't resist visiting one of the biggest scooter factories in Taiwan.
Hello, Joey.
Hi.
My name is Yao. Welcome to Shenyang Industry.
Oh, thank you very much. We walked down this huge factory into the assembly line. Look how far down it goes. You can barely see the end. Look at all these machines. What do all these things do?
Oh, this machine is doing about engineering work. We casting our parts to make a higher quality.
Oh, okay. How many scooters do you make a year here?
I think the maximum output is 1,500 units per day.
Per day, 1,500 a day?
Yes.
SYM produces over 600,000 motorcycles a year and exports to over 80 countries.
Look at the design of them. It's stunningly made. Oh. This turns me on, this whole thing. How many people it takes just to make these things. It's just incredible. Real wheels on, the handlebars, and all just slowly starting to look real.
So Charlie, we produce every scooter is in less than minutes. So you can, we can have a test.
Okay, let's have a test, definitely. Here we go, 55, 56, 57. 57.89 seconds.
Yeah, so
That's
we
pretty
make
good.
one scooter less than 1 minute.
Less than 1 minute. All day long.
Bikes are taken up to this warehouse, and it was just incredible to see this efficiency.
10,000 motorcycles live here. I mean, that's just a biker's dream to have a garage this size. Can you imagine? You could have one of everything.
We borrowed some bikes and rode to Taipei's oldest district, Wanhoi, home to Snake Alley.
went to this very strange place where this lady had this big snake out the front of the restaurant and was enticing people into her place to have snake's blood.
A lot of people believe that it's very good for their virility and that they'll be better lovers or bigger penises or be more potent.
I hate snakes. I really don't like them. Where's it going? Take it back.
You don't eat the penis. It's an alcohol-based thing where they put a whole penis into it and it ferments and you drink it.
Snake bra with honey. And a snake bio. And a snake penis. And some alcohol inside.
And drink half again.
Half again. Cheers, good, yo.
And it's pretty disgusting. Oh.
And then went off to another place just down the way to this lady, and she had turtle. Hi, nice to see you. Hello. This is turtle soup. This is foot. There. And this is turtle blood. What's this pink thing floating in the turtle blood? Looks like a pill.
Yeah, that's the essential concentration of the turtle's penis.
Oh no, I'm not gonna eat that. No, I'm not gonna eat that. No, come on guys, I feel sick.
Come on, it's a new little ball.
The turtle. I'm surprised I'm not ill from it all.
Very good.
Very good,
Yeah.
She was getting very excited by the fact that I was eating these turtle testicles that had been sitting in this jar for about 17 years. I can feel my big testicle. I'm working like that now. Okay. I reckon that all these things, they put alcohol in them so that by the time you leave, you feel slightly tiddly, so you think that you're bigger and better. But really, it's just, probably get Brewer's droop after this. I've just received this message from a guy called M13, and he got in contact with us, and he's a biker. And interestingly enough, he is involved a little bit in illegal racing. And he said he could organize this whole day of bikes and madness. He said he's not going to take his helmet off because he doesn't want to be filmed, and for obvious reasons, because of illegal racing. He's got some GPS coordinates for us by some temple or something, and all the guys are going to meet, and then they do it like really early in the morning, so they obviously avoid traffic and probably the police. So I could be, this time tomorrow, I could be in jail. Who knows? Anyway, we'll give him a go. Not quite sure who this sort of M13 guy might be. Who are these guys that we were going to go meet, and where they're going to be nice, and all those questions were sort of buzzing around your head. He's not around, so we'll have to see. Operators here. And they've got their leathers, all their knee pads are all scraped out. So they've obviously done lots of track days. Borman. Hey, dude, how are you? Good to see you. You all right?
Yeah.
Sorry we're running a bit late.
Just nervous. I got all these guys breathing down my neck.
Perfect. Well, it seems like a big bunch of guys here.
Bit too many. We can't count.
And here's the police already. It seems that the police have been tipped off about our early morning meet.
I don't
think he likes the bikers here. Just walk away. Just walk away.
He wants your passport.
But what have we done?
He said we're filming about his permission.
It's a language communication, that's all.
Claudio, who didn't understand what he was saying, so we're very sorry.
He was saying it in Chinese, though, which was difficult.
You apologise on our behalf because we don't speak Chinese, so Claudio didn't understand what he was doing.
Eventually we calmed down the policeman and said that we'll fuzz out your face and we won't use it. And that seemed to be good enough for him. So we finally managed to get on the bike and headed off just down the road to meet all the others. I wonder how many times we're going to see the police today. Do you often get hassle from the police?
Yes.
Yes. All the time.
Speeding tickets.
Speeding tickets. But it's only been like the last sort of 3 years that you can have big bikes here. So what did people do before?
Before big bikes were legal in Taiwan, there was roughly 20,000 illegal big bikes. And I think it was better back then because you'd ride in big groups, no one had license plates, no one had to worry about fines or anything. And the police, if you were with a group, they would leave you alone because it was too much of a hassle. And the rule was if you're riding by yourself, you couldn't stop at any red lights because if you stopped at a red light, a cop might come running up behind you and pull out your keys.
Yeah.
So it was heaven.
I used to do this when I was a bit younger. We used to go and meet and have a good roll burnout. But these guys go quite quick, so we'll have to just make a judgment on how fast I want to go. We go 200 meters around this corner, down this hill, and there's one of the guys sprawled out on the road. Well, that's what happens with overexcitement. That's the sad part of the whole thing there, really. He was very winded and obviously in a lot of pain and hurt himself. Where's the bike?
If you look up ahead, there's a bike on the left-hand side with its lights on. Behind that bike is his motorcycle.
See, sometimes what happens when you have a crash on the bike, it'll just fly, especially if you're going fast. Hit in here. But he's so far away. You'll see the whole crash.
Yeah.
And basically what had happened was someone had clipped him from behind. He'd come off, and his bike had carried on down the road and just smashed into this fence. And that's why we couldn't find the bike. Is he okay?
He says he feels terrible, but it could be shock. It doesn't seem like anything's broken.
Oh, but he's having a cigarette, so he's all right.
Yeah.
Oh. Then that's when the police turned up again. Another police car turned up. So that was the end of that. 2 police cars and a crash is enough to say, you know, someone's telling us not to carry on. Not to be deterred, M13 took us somewhere we wouldn't be bothered by the police.
Its original name was Taiwan International Speedway. Now the new name is, 你现在的名字是什么? LTNS now.
LTNS.
Yeah, long time no see.
Long time no see.
Let's hopefully not. And he'd organised a little surprise for me. Look at that. What an engine. That is awesome, isn't it? This car's a drifting car. It's not racing. It's all about style and about drifting around the corners. So we're going to have a go at that. How long have you been drifting?
Part of 5 years.
5 years. And do you win many competitions?
Yeah.
Yes. Wish me luck, guys. I'm going to be sick as a dog at the end of this. We drove down the pit lane. He stopped, revved the engine, and dumped the clutch. It was just mayhem. We were coming barreling into corners, and he was just throwing the back end out. I don't think there was a moment where we weren't drifting from one side or to the other. I've never had experience. It was fear and total exhilaration. That is incredible. Just brilliant. Oh, tire. Yeah, that was what? How long were we riding for? About 5 minutes? 5 minutes, yeah. Gone. That was one of the best experiences I've had, certainly on this trip. I feel a little bit car sick now, but other than that, I feel great.
So the next day we hopped onto a train, went up to a place called Keelung where we're going to get this cruise ship, this luxury liner, to take us to Japan.
It's huge, isn't it? That's where we're going on Star Cruises to Japan, our last country. I'm going to be on that. That's going to be a lot of fun. Hey, guys. Faster, faster, faster!
It's the last country that we said that we'd get into, and that's a huge thing for me. And, you know, when you sit there considering that we were sitting on Horn Island, having done a couple of weeks up Australia, and thinking, Christ, we've got Papua New Guinea and Indonesia and Philippines, Taiwan, and then finally Japan, and really looking forward to Japan now.
Finally leaving a country on a ship. And really excited about heading towards Japan, and especially on sea, not on a plane. But leaving Taiwan, and I feel a bit sad leaving Taiwan. Thousands of people getting on this boat. I mean, there's something like 1,600 people come on this boat. They've got something like 900 staff looking after these people. I mean, it's crazy. It's like a small town. Look at that. Bar, pool, jacuzzis. I mean, it is just crazy place. The 376-mile cruise to the port of Okinawa takes about 24 hours. It's a long ride, but the passengers are kept well entertained.
Here we go.
Hi, guys. There's this Miss Universe pageant that goes on, but it's done by ladyboys. We thought we'd go down and see them get dressed up and see how they do this pageant. What's the show you guys are doing there?
Later on, we'll be having at 9 o'clock at the Miss Universe Bingo. It's one of the highlights of all cruisers here on Superstar Libra. We introduce ourselves like we represent nationality.
Oh, okay, from different places around the world.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And so who are you?
I'm representing Mexico tonight.
Mexico. He said, oh, look, do you want me to, do your face up and I'll show you what it's like? And I went, yeah, all right, that sounds fine.
For your dress, Hendrix will be taking care of you.
I love pink. Real man wears pink.
So before I knew it, I was standing in a full pink dress and full drag queen with a wig and all that kind of stuff.
Fantabulous.
Okay.
It's showtime.
So I ended up in full drag dress doing this beauty pageant in front of all these Taiwanese guests.
My name is Paula from the land of the wild animals, Kenya.
My name is Rosana Rosas, and I'm proud to represent Mabuhay, Philippines!
Hello, my name is Charlene, and I come from Lithuania, and I love all people, and I want world peace. Okay.
Quite enjoyed it. Yeah, would I do it every day? Probably not. But I think I need to put Charlene on a hanger. We finally made it. I can't believe we're here already. Straight on? I wonder how many butts have sat on this wooden thing.
No, it's not the faint-hearted.
It's nothing like a Saturday afternoon ride.
And he was doing some tricks and all sorts of stuff.
My first fish. Bobble eyes. Look at that. That is just the maddest thing in the world. Here we go! There it is! Tokyo!
Last year, we finished here in Sydney on the last by any means, and we come all the way from Ireland. And now, I'm doing it again. But this time, I'm going from Sydney up the Pacific Rim all the way to Japan by any means of transport. I'm going to do some amazing biking.
We might be the first motorbikes to come up here.
Discover the impact of World War II.
All of this was just covered with landing craft.
And eventually end up in Tokyo. We've made it to Taiwan.
I'm not sure if I can handle it like 4:30 in the morning.
Turtle testicle?
Very good.
Best riding in the world that I've ever done, and I've been around a bit. But we're going to get this cruise ship to take us to Japan, our last country. Japan! We finally made it. I can't believe we're here already. 25 years was the last time I was in Japan, so I'm sure it's changed dramatically. And I'm really looking forward to it. We're going to Okinawa, where we'll spend a couple of nights, and then we're taking a ferry to the mainland and on to Tokyo. The islands of Okinawa are 340 miles from mainland Japan, and in 1872, they were officially taken over by Japan and became the Okinawa Prefecture. In 1945, it was the site of the last battle in the Second World War between the Americans and the Japanese. We're visiting the capital, Naha.
Here's a big sort of meat market, and you can choose your food. So we're going to have a quick look at Owen. This is Jane, who is going to be translating a little bit for us while we're in Japan. Look, he looks almost happy.
Please eat me.
So this is the prized pork.
And this is pig's ears.
So it's good for your skin because there's lots of collagen.
Smoked tongue. That's nice.
So how does it work? Because there's restaurants upstairs, right?
You can buy the meat here and then he'll bring it upstairs and prepare it for you.
Oh, okay.
Amazing kitchen, isn't it? Tiny. For Japanese people, eating here is a very cheap and easy way of dining out. The barbecue pork was fantastic and only cost 1,000 yen, about 7 quid.
And we're going to take one of these strange little bicycles. So how long have you been doing this thing for?
Been doing this 3 months.
3 months?
Yes.
It's really hot during the day here, and it seems to sap your energy for some reason, that type of heat, you know? Anyway, but we shall soldier on.
Shall I have a go?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, look. Power Rangers.
Hi, Okinawa Tourist.
Hello. What are they all doing?
Restaurant.
Wrestlers. Hey.
Hey.
Arena near here. That is funny, near here. See you later. All right, here we go.
Check if anyone's coming, nothing coming, and off we go.
So how many kilometers do you think you've done?
10 kilometers per day.
10. Wow, it's beautiful down here. This is the back streets. Straight on?
Straight.
We're just off to meet Okinawa's leading Second World War historian.
It looks now, I mean, you look at it now and it just looks like a peaceful city. But, I mean, it was one of the biggest battles of the Second World War here, wasn't it?
Yes, this was a major battlefield during World War II of Battle of Okinawa. And all these houses you see around here were completely
Okinawa was a great Japanese sea and air base, and in April 1945, the Americans attacked it with enormous force. Their goal was to create a springboard to mainland Japan. The battle has been called a typhoon of steel and was the last of the Second World War. 3 months later, in June, the Americans took Okinawa.
So how many people were killed?
In the total Battle of Okinawa, about 220,000 people died. The number of civilians casualties is about 150,000.
I heard stories that there were underground tunnels here, that there were mass suicides. I mean...
That's all true, and this is exactly where there's an Navy underground tunnel.
At least it's cool down here.
It's cool. They started digging the tunnel around August of 1944, and it was completed around April 1945. The senior staff officers committed suicide here. In Japan, by military tradition or the tradition of the samurai, you do not surrender. So rather than surrendering, people would choose suicide.
They would really choose suicide?
If you returned after being held captive, your own village might not accept you. You would be a disgrace to the family.
We met an 85-year-old survivor who was in the Japanese Navy during the battle.
When you were asked for people to take their own lives, how did you feel?
He thought as a military it was just one of the ordinary orders to commit suicide. But he was fighting every day. So because he was fighting every day, he didn't feel like committing suicide. And he was in the tunnel for about 1 week after the fighting ended, without any food or water. He just drank water from the ceilings. This was a commanding officer's room, and he committed suicide by the gun. His brigade. And so, in the final day, 6 senior staff were lying here.
Right. What were you told by the Japanese army about the Allies? Were you told that they would do terrible things to you if you were caught?
There were many women in the Navy headquarters. The education was that they would be raped. But and some people committed suicide because of that. So there was a safe in this Navy headquarters. So after the battle finished, he broke the safe and gave money out to everybody.
He gave money to everybody?
Who was the remaining. But nobody has said thank you to him.
No one said thank you. They just took the money and ran.
Important thing in Japanese education, many of school children come from all over Japan to visit Okinawa battlefields, to learn the lessons from the tragedy of war, and to remember that it should not be repeated again.
So remember those men that I met with the funny masks? Well, apparently they asked if I wanted to join them. And I'd take them on, and I reckon I'm going to take all of them on my own. Okay, here we go. And I'm going to just hammer them. That's my next challenge.
Johnny and you wrestling, they said, look, you really would get really hurt. It's not for the faint-hearted. Actually, for the first time ever, it was one of those things I thought, you know what, I'm not even going to try this. So we went back, and I was expecting it to be pretty lousy, because the costumes were pretty lousy. But it was still kind of funny.
Nice to meet you. Watch out, he's coming behind you.
Real slapstick. I know it looks a bit tacky, but it did make me laugh. It really did make me laugh. So good on you guys. I really think that was bloody funny.
Come on, let's get on this bad boy.
Let's get on this bad boy.
Yeah.
Let's get on this bad boy.
Am I a bit little too street and hip for you, Charlie?
All right, let's get on this bad boy.
We're heading up to mainland Japan and have 24 hours on this boat. I'm really looking forward to seeing how Japan's developed over the last 25 years. They have such strict cultural traditions, and yet grown men dress up as cartoon characters. I can't wait to find out more on my last leg to Tokyo.
I came in here, well, it's 12:30, 12:32. They've served lunch already. It's between 12 and 12:30. There's absolutely nothing left. Even the washing up's done.
Starving. We'd forgotten about the Japanese efficiency, and the next meal was between 5:30 and 6. So we were sniffing around for some food.
Have you seen all these kiosks?
They have over 5 million vending machines in Japan, and which creates something like $50 billion worth of revenue.
Oh yeah, there it is, look.
From these machines, so they are extremely important to the Japanese economy.
Oh, I've got two. Ooh. There was supposed to be mustard. Oh, there it is. It looks pretty rank, doesn't it? I suppose what do you expect from a machine? Because you're traveling slowly and you're on the boat for a long period of time, there's no rush to get anywhere, you're just on the boat. And it's a lovely feeling, actually, just chilling out here. We're here really early this time because we fucked up so badly last time.
This boat journey has been superb. It's very modern, clean, and extremely comfortable. What else can you ask for?
See you in the morning.
We've arrived at Kagoshima, mainland Japan, and today we're going to take a train.
Oh, yes.
But we haven't got much time.
It's 9 o'clock now, and we've got to get this train at 9:20, and I just don't know how far the train station is from here. So if we don't get this train, then we've kind of messed everything else up. We're going to meet a young boy, and he's going to help us on the train. And his dad is a big bike nut, and we're meeting his dad later on this afternoon to jump on his motorbikes. So his son is basically taking us on the train. Okay, you ready, guys? Okay, this is our little fella. He's going to take us along. This one? So what's your name?
Oh, Tarquin Smith.
Tarquin
yeah,
Smith.
How do you do?
Very nice to meet you, Tarquin. Tarquin is the guy I was talking about. Oh, here, move on, guys. So, Tarquin. So, are you into trains then? Not really?
Yeah.
Do you ride motorbikes as well, I hear? Is that right?
Oh, the small ones.
Small one. So, how long's the first train?
Yeah, it's about 1.5 hours or something. Yeah.
Can you write Japanese as well as English?
Yeah. Not maybe as well as English, but and this is the one we are
That's the
on
first
now.
train.
Yeah.
Second
this
train.
Is, second.
Do you use the trains a lot in Japan?
Yeah, I go to school by train often.
It's just a little local train, is it? Or?
Yeah, not like this. This is really special.
These old diesel trains have mostly been replaced by modern ones, which are much faster. So the old ones cater for tourism.
Come on, let's have a quick look, shall we?
Tarquin was really excited to travel on this train. It was built over 100 years ago and has been renovated with great care.
I love these things that you see here, and the view here is pretty spectacular. Look, you can see down there as well. Oh, look at the baskets. We found the hand-woven baskets. This is a big feature in the train. I think that's quite popular in Japan, is all that. It's all the attention to detail and the design. And then very sympathetic to the style of the train. It's quite nice to get on these things sometimes, so that you can look at the beautiful countryside and stuff instead of sitting on a motorway. Better off in here.
We got onto the second train, which went up into the mountains and stopped at these gorgeous little stations in the middle of nowhere.
So we're just about to meet your dad.
Yeah.
And what's his name?
Humphrey Smith.
What's he do here, your dad?
Oh, he teaches English to Japanese kids.
Your dad's from England, right?
Yeah.
And your mum?
English.
Yeah. And your mum?
Japanese.
Japanese.
Yeah.
And how did they meet?
I don't know.
Yeah, we're here.
Humphrey came here over 15 years ago. He kind of just stumbled upon the place and ended up staying here.
Hey there, boyo. How are you doing? How you doing?
Yeah, fine.
Everything's about giving you a good time, and we've got some interesting wheeled transport sorted out here.
Humphrey had organised some nice Italian bikes for us to ride. So we jumped on those, and his son jumped on the back with me, and we rode out, and we had this most wonderful ride all the way through this countryside. I always had the impression that Japan is going to be just this massively overcrowded place and that everything was just skyscrapers. But in actual fact, it's got some of the most beautiful countryside that I think I've ever seen. So we've just gone down into the caldera, which is what?
So it was a mountain, blew its top, big volcano. It's just a huge crater left. They call it a caldera. I don't know why.
Japan has several volcanic regions, and we're riding through the Aso-Kuju National Park, one of the world's largest craters. Mount Naka is an active volcano, and it spews out smoke with a sulfuric smell.
It's the sulfur that you're tasting in your mouth. It's just on the back of your throat, isn't it?
My dad's fart.
It smells of fart, your farts.
No matter how much you fart, you're going to lose compared with that over there. That is the smelliest.
And sometimes the sulfur gets so bad if the wind is in the wrong direction that they have to close that area.
We're heading for Beppu, which is famous for its hot springs. They're visited by over 4 million people each year. It's been a stunning journey of 184 miles and well worth the ride.
No, but it's been fun. You have an amazing area to play in.
I never take it for granted.
Well, he was great in the back. He fell asleep almost once.
We went to check out a mud bath, which is meant to be good for your skin.
And about 1,200 years ago, there was a huge volcano eruption here, and this apparently appeared then. And ever since then, it's turned into this beautiful botanical gardens and this amazing geothermal hot springs.
I'm going to wash first, because we don't want to offend anybody with my European smells. I wonder how many butts have sat on this wooden thing.
Their bodies and it's dropped back into the thing. It can't be that hygienic for you, can it? Yeah, look. See? Classic cube. There you go. There's another one. Just think Daniel Craig, that, 007 film. Why are you laughing? Right now here is where you're supposed to just rinse off. Jesus.
It was nice, but the problem was is that I kept thinking of how many other people had gotten into it, and then I kept thinking, God, I wonder how much sort of toenails and verrucas and all that kind of stuff is in it, and I kind of ruined it for myself. It just wasn't very nice.
So we've got to get a boat now to Shikoku, a fishing boat, and we're going to try and hopefully catch some fish. Hello. This is the boat that we're going to go on, and this is the fisherman.
はい、高原。
Takahara. How long have you been a fisherman?
釣り船だけで7年、8年ぐらいですね。
7 years.
Takahara has created a small business for himself, taking people out deep line fishing for the day.
He steers everything with this little thing here. That's his, yeah, that's amazing, the steering. Look at GPS here. Wow. I see.
We're heading for the island of Shikoku, and from there we're going on to Kobe.
So I think we're going to do a bit of fishing now. So look, it's got electric. So look, it's plugged it in here, and it goes onto the end of the fishing rod. So much for fishing for yourself, you know. Look, so there's the meters, 26, 27, 28. You see now why you would have an electric thing, because it's a long way to wheel all that back up. What you've got to do is it goes all the way down to the bottom, and then you hope a fish bites. And if it bites, then you've got it. Oh. I think so. I think maybe. Feels like it's struggling more. Maybe not. Oh yeah, there's something there, look. Oh, look at that. What is that? Oh. She's got the weirdest fucking eyes I've ever seen. Look at that. It looks like bubble eyes. There we go. My first fish. God, we finally caught something. Woo!
It was quite a thrill to catch my little sea perch. Then Takahara caught a fish known locally as aji, so we'd had a good day's fishing.
Oh.
We headed to the island of Shikoku, where Takahara said he'd show me how to prepare sashimi, a type of sushi, before we had to get off and catch a train.
Okay. This last thing is to eat the fish now, and we've got all the stuff that we possibly need.
Oh, he's gutted it just beautifully. You are so clever, mister. You're cutting in between the bone.
骨がついてる。大丈夫です。
Is that way? No? Takahara ignored my sea perch. Apparently, it's a delicious fish, but not quite good enough for sashimi.
That's mine, and that's his.
Okay.
Mmm. Very good.
And it was delicious. I mean, it was so fresh, and just absolutely delicious. You can't get much fresher than that, lad.
Shishi man, thank you very much. See ya. Ah, he was a lovely guy, actually. Very, very nice. Very, very good at what he does as well. I mean, I've never seen anyone move so fast in all my life than that guy. He's off.
We jumped on this train to Shizuri, which we thought was only going to be a couple of hours, but in fact, it turned out to be a 5-hour journey with a change. We needed to get there on time to catch a truck which was going to take us on to Kobe. And with the delay, it turned out to be a very late night.
Oh, God. Oh, no.
I misunderstood. I thought that we'd all be finished by 12 at the latest. And that's why we kind of spent more time on the boat. Had I known, I would never have spent more time. I probably wouldn't have gone to the mud baths, actually.
It's going to be an all-nighter tonight, I reckon. I don't think we'll get in much before 5. That. That is amazing. My God. Look at that. Hello. Hello, good to see you. Wow, what a machine. Look at that.
We're supposed to be sitting there.
Okay, for 2 hours.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Right, we're off.
Charlie and Claudia in the front. And Robin and I have been reduced to storage.
This is called a Decatur truck. It's an ordinary tipper truck designed to attract maximum attention. This craze started in Japan in the 1970s. I'm just fascinated to know, are there many of these?
Well, there used to be a lot more, but the economy went bad, so about half disappeared.
Half disappeared. And so what kind of stuff do you haul?
Soil or stones.
Construction. Okay. Why have you made your truck like this? Is this an expression of you, or?
His hobby is to decorate things, and it would be great that you could combine your hobby and your job.
Well done. Fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. We're here, finally, and it's now 4 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh my God. What a night. That was just so long.
For this core machine, and they deal in Triumphs and old British bikes. Hello, good to see you.
My name is Shige.
Shige. Okay, Shige.
Ken.
Hello, Ken. Hi. This is it. This is great. I love all these bits and pieces, and look at all these engines. So why do you like British bikes?
トライアンフのトライアンフじゃないね。ブリティッシュバイクの神様が初めてのバイクはもうトライアンフだったんだけど。そこからずっとトライアンフ乗っていて、ここで神戸で大地震があった時もトライアンフに助けてもらったし。
At the Kobe earthquake, was the town very much destroyed?
I lost my house.
Your house?
Yeah.
And were you in the house when the earthquake happened?
I was sleeping in the house.
You were sleeping in the house?
Yeah.
And you were riding a motorbike at the earthquake?
巣を買いに行けないし、街自体が麻痺している状態なんで、当然信号も全部止まってる。だからもう交通ルールなんかもうなくなってしまった。もう無法地帯みたいな。
So you were going around helping people on your motorbike, getting food and.
なんかそれが一番あれかな、人の役に立った時からことかな。
How many people lost their life in that earthquake?
More than 6,000 people died.
6,000.
Yeah.
Measuring 7.3 on the Richter scale, the Kobe earthquake in 1995 was the largest to strike Japan since 1923. It caused the collapse of around 200,000 buildings, leaving 300,000 people homeless.
トライアンフっていうのはなんていうんかな、人の心みたいなのが通じるバイクで、もしか壊れる時も壊れることもたまにあるんだけど、必ず何かシグナルを送ってくれる。
Yeah, I love that. I have one, and I love my baby. It's my baby. And he's right. It does have a little heart, and it does tell you when things are going wrong. You have some friends coming at 5 o'clock. Is that right? Yeah. It's nothing like a Saturday afternoon ride.
So the idea was to go from Kobe to Kyoto.
It's funny, I've been waiting to do this for so long, to ride in Japan with all these guys in custom bikes. I've been so excited about it. I really am.
Five minutes into their journey, his bike conked out.
The joy of old bikes. It all just sort of never quite works all the time. I like his style. His leg goes out in the air. It's nice style. Maybe wait 5 minutes. Go, come on, baby. It's happened before many times. As you're well prepared. I like that. Well prepared.
Tried to fix it. Couldn't do it. Change the spark plugs, everything. Just wouldn't happen.
So she's sick.
she's broken down. And this policeman's going to very kindly keep an eye on it until it gets picked up. And he's going to come on the back with me. You scared? It's bikes. Okay.
And it's not just the bikes that these guys, when they were wearing all these crazy helmets with goggles and the clothes that they wear and the tattoos, and so it's a whole lifestyle for them. We're heading off to Kyoto, and we've heard we can stay in this renovated geisha house.
Hello!
Hello.
Hi, guys.
Welcome.
Charlie. Hi.
I'm Bodhi. Welcome.
Bodhi and
Nemo. This is one.
So it's kind of sort of modern-y and sort of and kind of traditional.
A bit of both. We've kind of mixed the modern traditional, kept the traditional elements. This house is about 80 years old. Actually, used to be a geisha's house.
What are two Americans doing? Buying geisha houses and kind of doing them up.
So we've been basically trying to save as many of these houses as possible. They've been restoring a lot of them as restaurants, as art galleries, but no one's been restoring them as basically as places where you can just stay at as in your own house.
Everybody wants that modern, don't they?
The modern facilities, the toilet that washes you, it's all about convenience
which
here,
you can have
isn't
both.
it?
I think
If you check the bathroom, you might find a nice washable surprise.
Oh, really? Okay. What you guys have done, I think it's just beautiful. It really is. And I'm going to so enjoy sleeping here tonight.
The key. Just one key for the front door.
Brilliant.
We'll have another for you as well. Yep.
My house.
It's your house.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay.
Welcome.
What are squatters' rights like here? You've seen the toilets. Look, have a look. Japanese toilets. So basically what happens is you sit on it, it gives it a little wash. You see? And here you got bidet or dry. It's not squirting out. Oh my God! There it is! Oh my God! Listen, look, there's hot air. Look, see my hair. Oh yeah. See? Isn't that great? Someone's being. Look, it's flushed by itself. Well, and see, because we're in Kyoto, which is the Kyoto Agreement about greener, safer places, you don't need to use toilet paper. I wonder how much electricity that uses to want to heat the seat, heat the water, and then hot air. I mean, it's absolutely hoiking it down. Nasty, nasty, nasty. So today I'm off to meet Taku, who is a guy that I've known for a while, Japanese guy, biker, and he's going to travel with me for the next 3 days. But we're taking the bullet train for the first time, so I'm dead excited about that. Bloody hell. It's so long. It goes on and on.
Bullet trains carry over 150 million passengers across Japan every year. First built in 1964, bullet trains are renowned for their comfort and punctuality.
How smooth this train is. Every single piece of track is welded together and then smoothed off so that, there's no that kind of noise.
Reaching speeds of up to 174 miles an hour, you can travel the 320 miles from Osaka to Tokyo in just under 3 hours. However, we're just going 83 miles to Nagoya.
I'm going to meet Taku now, and he's going to spend the next 3 days with me. Because we're doing lots of bike stuff, and he's a real bike enthusiast and nut. He is massive into his motorbike, and his brother, he was helping us out as well. Hello.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Hi, brother. Well, you're going to join us for a few days. You're going to have some fun. Interesting car to have in Japan. You don't see many of these. Look at the guys fishing.
Fishing also they are getting like a seashell.
Seashells. She sells seashells on the seashore. Can you say that really fast?
She sells seashells.
Seashore. She sells seashells on the seashore. She sells seashells on the seashore. She sells seashells on the seashore.
Ooh. She sells seashells. seashore.
Seashore.
Okay, Tasha, I'm getting sweat. She sells on the seashore.
Yeah.
Oh, it's hard ones for me.
And then we went down to this cosplay, or costume play, where basically this sort of started in America with sci-fi movies and dressing up in Star Wars outfits, and they dress up as these famous cartoon characters.
This is it then, is it?
Yes, I think so.
So we went down to the world event where people from all over the world go there once a year.
It's kind of cool, isn't it? Look at that.
I'm thinking, do you send that's kind of TV.
TV. TV characters. He made the costume.
Yes, he made
Wow. How long did it take you to put it together?
8 months.
8 months.
8 months.
8 months. That is just incredible. Why did you get into it? What was the reason?
He wants to be a hero since child.
Oh, it's brilliant. You look
He's
amazing.
also the doctor.
Turn around. You were just saying, as you know, in a culture where everybody's very polite and very, there's formality all the time, isn't there?
Yes.
And then suddenly they dress up like this and they can be anybody. No one recognizes them.
Exactly, yeah.
It's a bit like when you go to a costume party. They're
Like the
usually
same
always
thing,
wilder
yes.
at a costume party, isn't it?
Same.
Because people are people. I mean, there's a kind of couple boxes. I think we should get going.
Yes.
That was kind of cool.
Yes.
Thanks for coming along
Something
today.
different, yes.
And tomorrow?
We're going to the bike shops. Yes.
More bikes.
Talk about the more real cars.
Yeah. This is back to traveling, washing. Off we go to the laundrette. Okay. That one. Get some coins, 500 yen. Got to get washing powder. You would have thought they'd have washing powder in there, but, obviously not. Okay. Could I have a change for the machine? Arigato, thank you very much. I put 5 in. Shit, where'd that go? That's the only button I didn't press. 30 minutes. All right, clean clothes. So nice. My wife would be laughing at me like this because I never do washing. We went to go and see a stunt guy and a couple of bike shops. This is your stunt bike?
Yeah.
So how long have you been doing stunts?
I've been riding stunt riding for 6 years.
6 years.
I started when I was 19 years old. So I was inspired by U.S. stunt riding DVDs.
You can jump on that.
Oh, you sit on here. Oh,
Yeah,
and then you
do
make,
wheelies.
make the wheelies. Oh my God. So that's the normal position here. The spreader. And then up here, and this is all, imagine this, that this is all on one wheel. My gosh, it's incredible. So have you got into trouble many times?
4 times.
For big...
I was doing wheelies on the street, and I crashed into car.
Into car?
Yeah.
Ouch. Did you break the bones as well?
Never.
No bones?
Because I'm strong.
Yeah. And good.
Yes.
Look, he's got his stunt shop here, and then the building is owned by Vehicle Dreams, yeah?
So this is a custom paint shop.
Yeah. So this is your paint shop?
Yeah, yes.
Wow, it's incredible. What a big business you have. This orange one here, this one, is incredible. And all this is hand-painted?
Yeah, yeah.
Airbrush. Who's the artist?
Here.
Yeah. You do this yourself?
Yes.
And how long does it take to make something like this?
1 month.
So how did you get into spray painting? I mean,
He used to work for the TV program. He's making like a painting inside of the studio.
Oh, you mean like a
Like a TV
set
That's
designer?
right, yeah. Yep.
Okay. The challenge is he's going to draw my face.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
It's on my nose. God, it's just appearing out of nowhere. He doesn't do a sketch, he hasn't done anything, just straight out of his head.
Within 5 minutes, he'd air sprayed this paint job. I mean, it's just incredible.
It's three-dimensional as well. Once you've decided what kind of paint job you want, then you can walk over here and they'll customize it for you and do anything that you want. So look here, the guy's here, look. Oh. Wow. Wow, that's just gorgeous. It's beautiful. Cool. Hello, hi, is this your bag?
Oh.
Hello,
This
Charlie.
is my bag.
Hi.
Nice to meet you. I'm a tattoo artist from Japan.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. It's his back piece I'm doing now.
Okay, so it's just started.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is my bike. This, I have another Triumph.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, old Triumph and a hot rod. This old car, 1923.
A hot car?
Yeah.
But like a picture of your car? Or...
Inside it.
Oh, okay, yeah. Let's have a look.
Go show my hot rod.
Oh, my God, that's beautiful. Oh, wow. Would you take us for a ride in your hot rod?
Oh, no problem. Tomorrow I have time.
All right, that's so cool. Wow, what a car! 1923 Model T.
Yeah, I drive 6 years now.
6 years?
Yeah.
So it's a real Model T?
Yeah.
God, fantastic. And you got it in from California and sent it over?
Yeah.
I love the carbs. And the petrol tank here?
Yeah.
Is that your sort of passion? Is that sort of era?
Yeah. I like the American culture.
Yeah.
I want to live. But I live in Japan, a little bit different.
Yeah.
This bike, it's okay. It is fast and cool. But I like old.
Yeah.
I think old bikes have a soul.
Yeah. And so we're off.
The Model T Ford was the first production line car in the world. Over 15 million Model Ts have been bought and sold since the first one in 1908. Masato was taking us down to Paradise Road, where a famous custom car maker has his workshop.
See this place?
Wow. Oh, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Hi, Charlie.
So...
This is incredible. How long did it take you to build this?
The first version is making 6 months. And then next year, one more remaking, and then spend 6 months.
6 months, yeah.
Why don't you try sit inside?
I can?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, it really is small.
Oh, like a penalty game.
Wow.
Maybe cannot drive.
I think designed for someone a little bit smaller than me.
Like a space shuttle.
Oh, it's beautiful. So how long have you been playing with cars and bikes?
Trip to California, in 1987. And then back to Japan. Then I started a small shop.
Yeah.
First 70s, 80s American car. I took 70s, 80s. Then 50s, 40s, 30s, and then now it's like this.
That's like this. Thank you for letting us come and have a look around. A glimpse of the culture of Japan, the car and bike culture of Japan is alive and doing okay. The boys have come to pick me up, and Taka's on the XJR.
Yes. 6R.
GX6R. Oh, 600.
Yeah.
Oh, very nice.
Ninja.
And then I'm on the Yamaha VMAX. Okay, on.
So from there, Ryota picked us up, who's the stunt guy, and he was going to take us over to his mate, Taitsuki's house, which is about an hour away.
It wasn't really until the 1960s that Japanese bike manufacturers kind of took off. Until after the war, it was all imports over here. Straight after the war, suddenly all these bike manufacturers came up. Yamaha and Suzuki, all those people. So it's a relatively young industry here, really.
On the way down to his mate's house, Ryota was popping wheelies and he was doing some tricks and all sorts of stuff.
So we ended up in this little town of Hamamatsu in this gorgeous, brand spanking new house to have this barbecue.
A lovely barbecue. Met some guys, had some chats, had a few beers. They very kindly put us up in a lovely house and a lovely bed. So fresh. It's been a really nice evening.
Tomorrow, it's the 64th anniversary since the atomic bomb was dropped on Hiroshima, and they're having a ceremony of remembrance. Hiroshima has been one of those horrific events I've known about all my life, and since I'm in Japan, I really wanted to attend the ceremony.
I'm Tomoko.
Oh, Tomoko, hello.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I just noticed this clock.
Yeah, North Korea had a nuclear test. Whenever some country had a test, then the clock back to zero.
Back to zero. And it was only 72 days ago.
Yes, only, yes.
And this was, and up here is...
The first atomic bomb used.
So 23,000 days ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
In 1945, the Americans had just developed nuclear weapons, and at 8:15 a.m. on the 6th of August, a B-29 bomber dropped an atomic bomb. 43 seconds later, it exploded over the city of Hiroshima. A massive explosion devastated an area of 5 square miles, creating a blinding light and an overwhelming wave of heat. Everybody closest died. Their bodies turned into black char, nearby birds exploded in mid-air, and dry materials ignited up to over 6,000 feet away. Only a few buildings remained.
Wow. So we're just about underneath the bomb right now.
Yes, very close from here.
Does anybody know why this building survived?
The hypocenter, where the bomb was exploded, is just over there in the air. And it's so close from the hypocenter, so the air pressure was from the above, mostly above, so not pushed down.
Oh, I
That's
see.
why
So it was mostly down, the pressure.
Yes.
How many people actually died?
At that time, it is said that 350,000 people were living here, and 140,000 died by the end of that year.
Of radiation.
Burns or radiation. And also people still keep dying. 10 years later, leukemia hit the peak, and 12 years later, thyroid cancer hit the peak.
And horrific burns and oh my God.
She didn't die, but she had to
live with it.
We went to meet a survivor who lived just outside the zone of total destruction and to hear her story.
I was 80 years old that time.
8.
First, I felt or I saw the bluish white light. It was like 1,000 of suns. And then I was hit on the ground. And then a moment of silence. And then it was so dark. We didn't know what happened. And then soon after, there was a long, long rows of refugees. And they were stretching their hands. But first, I could sense the burning hair.
Oh, you could smell.
Everybody smell. First smell. And then, the refugees.
Yeah.
And then they were so quiet, nothing to say, just stretch their arms.
What, so you could see the skin?
Yes, all the peeling off. That was dreadful. The one thing became my nightmare was everybody was asking, give me water, you see? And so I ran back to my house and I gave them water. But so many dying people died.
Oh, in front of you?
In front of me. And since then, I saw the nightmare for a long time. I had a hard time.
Thank you for telling us some of your story. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Well, she's off to talk again. We have to stop. What God-given right do we have to make 8-year-old children like her go through what she had to go through, to watch people's skin falling off them, to watch people die in front of her? She gave people water because they were desperate for water and they died. Why should she have to go through that?
A few days later, on the 9th of August, another nuclear bomb was dropped on Nagasaki. This led to the surrender of Japan, officially signed on the 2nd of September, 1945.
We went to the ceremony. It was really tastefully done. It was very respectful. It was very simple. And it was actually really, really nice.
I believe that Japan is the country with the most moral authority to begin in earnest the process to lead our world by starting the way to zero tolerance of nuclear weapons.
I didn't know what to expect, actually, by coming here. But regardless of who did what and who thought it was right or who thought it was wrong, what happened to people here and what happened to them afterwards is inexcusable for anybody, any country, any person to do that to anybody. Would anyone really use it against each other again? God Almighty, I hope not. God Almighty, I hope not.
The next day, we picked up our journey towards Tokyo. The end was in sight, but you cannot visit Japan without seeing Mount Fuji, and I was so looking forward to getting just a glimpse of it.
Can't see it. Look at that outside. I'm hoping it's just going to burn out, is what I'm hoping. It's not looking great. It really isn't. Wow, that could blow the whole day out, really.
So we decided while we were waiting for the weather to clear, we would check out another form of transport.
We are in a roller coaster park, and it's my favorite of roller coaster parks. And then we're going on this big bad puppy just up here.
Janaka means ain't it great? This roller coaster is one of the handful of rides in the world where the seats spin independently, making it able to rotate against the direction of travel.
Look, I've got my camera strapped to me. You've got to leave everything behind, shoes, anything that falls out your pocket. Bloody hell, it's a bit tight, isn't it? Oh my God, bye! Bye! All right! Here we go! All right! Oh, here's the top. Here's the top. Oh, here we go! That was so painful. That was so painful. Oh my God. I mean, it was absolutely brutal. That is just the maddest thing in the world.
And then we were so lucky, the clouds finally lifted and Mount Fuji appeared. Mount Fuji is the tallest mountain in Japan, and it is 3,776 meters high. And the last time it erupted was in 1708.
Right, so today is my last day. And it's my last ride of this trip. The ride into Tokyo.
I'm going to do it alone this time. Normally I'd have a convoy, but I just wanted this one to be a personal experience.
It seemed really important that I rode into Tokyo on my last day on a custom bike in seas of beauty as well.
This is a Brat-style 1940s knucklehead Harley-Davidson. Brat-style are one of the most famous custom bike builders in Japan, and they lent me this to ride on my last of 84 days.
There it is! Tokyo!
As I was riding into Tokyo, I started to think about all the countries that I'd visited, the people, variation of people, and the different cultures that you go through.
It's lovely just sitting up here watching everybody do their thing.
It's been an incredible eye-opener to see how people live in all these different places.
How gorgeous is that?
To be able to go from Sydney to Tokyo up the Pacific Rim, and it was fascinating to be able to see and to listen to these people's stories firsthand. That was one of the really true experiences of this trip. Binding Means for me has always been about the transport, and this trip really didn't let us down.
This is where it all comes alive.
All the different forms of transport. To have these experiences is extraordinary.
Look out! Whoa!
And of course, the bikes. I love motorbikes.
It makes my heart sing when I ride motorbikes. I truly have loved every minute of it. It's been a blast. It's been a blast.
84 days later, and 19,911 miles, I'm here.
By any means, we did it! From Sydney to Tokyo! The whole way here! Woohoo!
Oh my God!
We've done it! Yes!
We've done it! Tokyo.